Jr. for Health and Human Services Secretary.
It's yet another pick, sources tell Fox, that could face Republican resistance for Senate confirmation. Among them, Tulsi Gabbard, Pete Hegseth, and now former Congressman Matt Gaetz. The Trump team warning senators to get in line.
Fox's Aisha Hazni. The Kennedys expressed skepticism about vaccines, and the World Health Organization says measles cases were up 20% last year worldwide due to a drop in vaccinations. He's also said we need to be producing healthier food. And new research says nearly 3/4 of American adults are overweight or obese.
The study also finds we're on a bad trajectory and that those numbers will only increase by a lot over the next 2.5 decades. 8 years ago, the cost of treating obesity and the downstream effects like heart problems and diabetes amounted to as much as $480 million. The study found southern states disproportionately struggle with obesity. In Texas, more than half of adolescent men ages 15 to 24 are overweight or obese.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. A Trump White House cost-cutting advisory panel led by tech billionaire Elon Musk is hiring.
The Department of Government Efficiency says they've already heard from thousands of people who are interested in participating in this cost-cutting mission, saying, quote, "We don't need more part-time idea generators. We need super high IQ, small government revolutionaries willing to work 80-plus hours per week on unglamorous cost-cutting."
Fox's Hillary Vaughn. In a separate post, Musk says the job pays zero. Retail sales up 0.4% last month. Auto dealers, restaurants, and electronics stores all reporting higher numbers. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Gunshots from Indy officers. It's 47 and cloudy downtown. A clear radar, though. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:02. Someone was shot by an IMPD officer Thursday afternoon.
Just after 4 p.m., officers in the IMPD North District responded to a check the welfare of a person inside of a vehicle at a drive-thru.
Officer William Young says that person hit an officer with their car. Another officer then shot the driver. Both were sent to the hospital and are expected to be okay. What's known as gender-affirming care remains illegal in Indiana. That's the ruling of a federal appeals court, which says Indiana's law banning the use of puberty blockers and gender reassignment surgeries on children is in fact lawful. Attorney General Todd Rokita praising the ruling, saying that it protects children. Murder charges in Indianapolis against a man accused of breaking into a home 2 years ago. Jake McDaniel reports.
19-year-old Octavian Long shot and killed 22-year-old Naya Ruffin while breaking into her Indianapolis home 2 years ago. Long said he was never at the home, but police said they took DNA samples from blood in the bedroom, on a safe, and under Ruffin's boyfriend's fingernails. Her boyfriend and her child were also at the home while the two men broke in. Jake McDaniel, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A deputy prosecutor in Hancock County was fired for essentially calling Trump supporters Nazis. Prosecutor Brent Eaton fired Jordan Alouette Stroh for that, saying that her social media posts may make her appear unable to fairly do her job. IU law professor Steve Sanders tells Wish TV that he agrees.
I worry that these comments could very easily lead people to believe this is not a prosecutor who is able to do her job fairly.
Stroh says that her opinions never carried any weight in her job. Many players are eager for Anthony Richardson to be back under center for the Indianapolis Colts, namely Jonathan Taylor.
I'm just excited. I'm excited for him because he has a chance to have another opportunity. These chances are few and far to come by in this league, so I'm excited that he has another chance to go out there and display his talent for the world.
The Colts face the New York Jets Sunday afternoon. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Bear.
Crash east side, westbound 70. After Rural Street, Keystone Avenue, 2 left lanes are blocked and traffic is stopped back to Emerson Avenue. That is a 13-minute delay. We have it bad in Hancock County right now. Westbound 70 before State Road 9. It is a crash blocking the left lane, causing stop traffic for about 1.5 miles. Delay time just under an hour. Traffic sponsored by PureTalk.com. Stop overpaying for your cell phone plan. Pure Talk gives you unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month on their 5G network. Dial pound 250 and say keyword switch now to save 50% off your first month. I'm Matt Bear with Traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, what's all this I hear about season's free things?
Yeah, we're giving away even more than usual this season.
Free alignment with any Ford tire purchase isn't seasonal, Mike. It's free every day at Tire Discounters.
Sure, but right now, guess what else happens every day?
I know. that customers can save up to $250 on Michelin tires?
Absolutely. Now, guess what else?
Mike, I'm a phantom tire buyer with a secret identity. Please don't toy with me.
Okay, here's the deal.
Yes?
We're doing these drawings.
Like a game show.
And one lucky customer per day wins all their money back for 4 tires.
Spectacular! But why call it Seasons Free Things?
You know, season's greetings. It's like a play on words.
Yes, of course it is. I knew that.
It's Seasons Free Things at Tire Discounters. One lucky customer per day wins their money back on tires. Everyone saves big on major brands like Continental. And a free alignment and oil change comes with every 4-tire purchase.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Family Heating and Air, your American Standard Air dealer in Indianapolis.
The forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Cloudy skies with some area of drizzle this morning. Should dry out this afternoon. A high of 54. Cloudy tonight. Some areas of fog after midnight. A low of 43. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
47 and cloudy on Monument Circle. I'm Kirk Darling. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Friday, November 15th. It's 6 minutes after 9 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So last night, Donald Trump had his first major speaking event since the president-elect's election victory. And who did he have introduce him at the America First Policy Gala in Palm Beach, Florida? Sly Stallone.
He loves the star power, doesn't he?
He really does.
He loves the star power.
Sylvester Stallone was there, and he not only compared him to Rocky Balboa, but said that Trump was the next George Washington in terms of safeguarding the United States.
Okay. So should we play the audio first? Because I got some issues.
You got
with
some
this.
stuff?
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we play the audio
Let's
first?
take a listen. Here is Sylvester Stallone at the event last night with Donald Trump.
I'm in awe. And I'll just say this, and I mean it. When George Washington defended his country, he had no idea that he was going to change the world. Because without him, you can imagine what the world would look like. Guess what? We got the second George Washington. Congratulations!
Okay. So, first of all, I don't know, maybe I missed this. Where was Sylvester Stallone during the campaign?
Yeah, he has not been outspoken about politics at all up until now.
I mean, I think he is a Republican. I think he has made that somewhat clear over the years, but I mean, of all the famous people Trump had out working for him, like, wouldn't Sylvester Stallone have been great in Philadelphia? I mean, wouldn't that have been coming very handy, like, a rally?
Running up the steps.
I mean, come on.
Doing the bounce,
so
the dance.
That's maybe I just missed it, but I don't recall seeing him be a part of anything related to Trump. But that's the first thing. Anyway, the point is, okay, let's put some perspective on things, all right? George Washington is arguably the greatest and most important person who has ever lived in the history of this country. When you just take out the fact that he was the first president of the United States and all the trials and tribulations that came with trying to run a new country and setting the precedent of walking away from power after 2 terms and I mean, just all of that. Winning the Revolutionary War alone and what that took and the pitfalls and the ills and the weather and the loss of lives and I mean just all of that. I mean what the Continental Army did is arguably, in terms of mankind, the greatest accomplishment in the history of mankind. You could make a compelling case that the Continental Army defeating the British is the greatest accomplishment in the history of mankind. And certainly there were many, many people who helped make that possible, including people like Lafayette, et cetera. But George Washington was the central figure of that. And I don't think comparing George Washington, arguably the greatest American who ever lived, the most important American who ever lived, to a guy who was an above-average president. And, yeah, he went through a lot of crap. But let's face it, I think a big portion of what Donald Trump does is for Donald Trump. Are we kidding ourselves here?
So you think it's a bit of a stretch? Is that what you're saying?
I think there was nothing about George Washington. If you read the history, biographies and things that were written about George Washington.
He was selfless.
Yes.
He didn't even want to be president.
I mean, these guys, George Washington was a hero long before the country was ever founded. What he did on the frontier was incredible, the things that he did. The fact that he was even alive to fight in the Revolutionary War was amazing. None of that was done for fame or publicity or self-interest. Look, Donald Trump's story is amazing, and I have said, and I will continue to stand by, Donald Trump is on the Mount Rushmore, along with George Washington, of most interesting. Interesting is the key word, right? Of people who have ever lived in the history of this country, without a doubt, without debate, without discussion. He has lived a phenomenally fascinating life. But to compare him to George Washington, and I get maybe I'm making too much about this, but I saw this last night. I'm like, okay, so a guy who wasn't even involved in the campaign is going out there and comparing Donald Trump to get out of here with that.
Did you see how Donald Trump grabbed his lapel and kind of shook him like he was ready to fight him?
Yeah, well, Trump, those guys are two pieces, like they're totally alpha machismo dudes, and I love every bit of that. And I think it's great, and Rocky's one of the greatest American stories, ever written. But oh my gosh, I saw this, I thought, and we got we're laughing about this, but you got to be careful with this, because when you start elevating politicians and idolizing them, you stop holding them accountable. And our job as the public, now that Trump has won, is to hold him accountable and to help him produce the things that he promised to produce on the campaign trail. And I really do worry when we start elevating these people like this, that we start being team sport rather than holding them accountable.
You want to talk about elevating them. Stallone went on to say that we're in the presence of a really mythical character.
Yeah.
Nobody in the world could have pulled off what he pulled off, so I'm in awe.
Yeah, and this is...
He just wanted to hang out at Mar-a-Lago.
And again, I get it's like easy to be team cheerleader guy, and it's wonderful, and I hope Trump does very well. And it's the same thing we've talked about with like Mike Braun. Our job now is to hold Mike Braun accountable that he delivers on the promises he made to our audience, which is, property taxes, universal school choice, et cetera. And we will do that. You don't see us cheerleading for Braun. You don't see us saying, oh, Mike Braun's great, he's the best. Now, if Mike Braun delivers on that, if Mike Braun seals the deal on his property tax plan, oh, yeah, you better believe he's going to get all sorts of praise and I'm not going to call him a mythical figure or compare him to George Washington. But if Mike Braun delivers on his property tax reform plan, it'll be one of the most important events to ever happen in the state. He'll be given the adulation that he deserves that. But right now, we're not that. Our job is to hold politicians accountable. And it seems like with Trump, we've already entered the cheerleading phase rather than the accountability phase.
Hey, how old do you think Sylvester Stallone is? Do you know?
I'll get this close. I don't think I'll get this right, but I think I'll get close on this. So Rocky was 75, right? It came out in 1975. Is that right? 76 is the bicentennial, right? 76. I think Stallone was 30 years old in 1976, so I'll say he is 78 years old.
You nailed it.
Oh, perfect. Yes.
Yeah, they're the same age, Donald Trump. And
well, the reason I knew that was because he was obviously like the writer, the director, everything with Rocky was his. It was his story, and the fighter itself was sort of a reflection of Stallone's acting career of this, over the hill kind of guy who had, didn't get the chances or opportunity. So I knew he was 30 years old when he did Rocky. So
he's in a new show. It's called Tulsa King.
Yeah, it's great. Have you seen it?
No, I saw a commercial for it last night, and I thought he's still acting. It's a mob type show.
Yeah, this is the second season of Tulsa King is out. The first season was very good. Look, Stallone is not an actor. He's a movie star, and he always plays the same kind of guy, and this is actually a pretty good role for him, where he is this guy who's done time in federal prison, 25 years for murder. He's a member of the mob. He gets out. They vanquish him to Tulsa to set up his own little empire out there because they don't want him trying to get back in New York and take over the family. And so he has to create basically a mafia empire in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And it's actually a pretty, I mean, it's not Hill Street Blues or a Dallas or anything of that magnitude, but it's a fun show to watch. You'll enjoy it.
So Donald Trump spoke at this event last night, and he also talked about Elon Musk. And he was joking that he can't get Elon Musk out of there.
We have a man who has a seriously high IQ. You know, I'm a person that believes in high IQs, and his is about as high as they get. He launched a rocket 3 weeks ago, and then he went to Pennsylvania to campaign because he considered this more important than launching rockets that cost billions of dollars. Elon Musk. Elon. What a job. What a job he does. And he happens to be a really good guy. You know, he likes this place. I can't get him out of here. He just likes this place. And you know what? I like having him here, too.
So I'm starting to see articles that say, is Elon overstaying his welcome there?
Remember that movie, Kev, you're probably too young for this movie, but maybe you saw it like on some streaming app or something. Remember in the early 2000s, there was a movie called Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that movie?
Yeah, I've seen it.
So Neil Patrick Harris is the guy who played Doogie Howser, has a cameo in the movie. And in the movie, it's these two kids. They go on this, or kids, they're in their 20s or whatever. They go on this unbelievable, wacky adventure. It's a comedy. It's an adult comedy. And at some point, and I forget exactly how the script goes, but they come into contact with Neil Patrick Harris, who's playing himself. And I think this was even before Neil Patrick Harris came out as gay. I could be wrong. It doesn't matter. But the point is, they're enamored in the beginning that it's Neil Patrick Harris, and he's on this adventure with them. And it turns out, like in the movie, and Neil Patrick Harris leans into this, that he's this complete weirdo sleazebag. And by the end, they're basically like trying to get rid of him. Like, I can't believe like he is still here ruining this, adventure for us. And that's sort of what Elon Musk is coming off as now with Trump. Like, he got into bed with Musk to get him the presidency, and now it's like, dude, you are still here. Go home and build a car or launch a rocket.
Do whatever it is you do. Just do it someplace else. It's like, the bartender at the bar last call. Don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. So Donald Trump said that he keeps asking Elon what he does best, and that they're trying to figure that out still.
Well,
however, he did mention that he's going to lead the newly formed Department of Government Efficiency.
Yes, okay, sure, right.
Another thing that Donald Trump was talking about last night in his speech is more people to his cabinet.
That's right.
It's like the draft, and we've got more to talk about coming up. It's 93 WIBC.
Will retain control of the House after flipping the White House and the Senate.
93 WIBC.
Next week, it's the G20 summit in Brazil.
Hear the news.
The NFL Scouting Combine is staying in Indianapolis through 2026, 39th consecutive year in Indianapolis.
Another news update is minutes away.
The Indiana Pacers.
The Pacers, disastrous fourth quarter, and they lose it 94-90.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
As summer fades and the cool breeze of fall sets in, it's the perfect time to get back to the basics, especially when it comes to your financial future. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe in simplifying your retirement plan. Our team of advisors help you build a customized retirement strategy that is designed to help reduce risk, increase income, and mitigate tax. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your plan, we're here to guide you every step of the way. It's never too early or too late to make sure your financial future is secure. Text BASICS to 888-494-5004 to download your complimentary retirement planning toolkit today. That's BASICS to 888-494-5004. Howard Bailey Financial. Back to the basics. Forward to your future. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
We know that around the holidays, things don't always go as planned. That's why Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles, the best warranty around. So make memories this season in a Hubler quality pre-owned vehicle. Shop drivehubler.com or any of our 12 locations. Every Hubler Q certified vehicle is covered by a 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty and includes a 128-point vehicle inspection, plus a free Carfax history report. Choose from over 2,000 Chevys, Fords, GMCs, Buicks, Nissans, Acuras, Mazdas, Hondas, and many more. All makes and models. Certified luxury, even the hard-to-find ones. No matter where your plans take you, spread cheer all season long, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles. Happy holidays, Indiana. Visit drivehubler.com or any of our 12 locations. Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
My husband Bob has Parkinson's and he needs more help now, and I need more support to help him. Thanks to Indiana Pathways for Aging, we're getting the support we need to help him right here at home, like with meal prep and basic personal care and even respite support for me.
Pathways provides Hoosier Medicaid members, age 60 and over, support for care their way, so they can live life their way. To learn more, eligible members call 87-PATHWAY-4 or visit in.gov/pathways.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Trust our family to take care of your family. Call us today for our family maintenance plan at 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
White House draft continues, and this announcement yesterday probably shouldn't surprise many people. Donald Trump has tapped Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to head the Department of Health and Human Services. They have a budget of nearly $2 trillion in charge of some important programs like Medicare and Medicaid, also the Affordable Cares Act. They used to be in charge of education, but they split that up years ago, and also Social Security, but they took that part out of it as well.
Was there a question?
No.
Oh, it's just my turn to talk.
Sure.
I'm just letting you tee it up for me.
Yeah.
All right. So let me ask you a question, and I'll be curious to get your answer. Based on what you've seen so far from Trump, so the election was Tuesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Today is Friday, so I'm doing public school math here. That's 10 days, right? 7 days, Wednesday, Thursday. If we count today, that's Friday. That's 10 days. In 10 days, do you have an idea of what Trump is going to try to accomplish over the next 2 years?
Well, it sounds like he's trying to put people in positions that they're well suited for, or that he thinks will be a disruptor in a lot of areas. Like, when you look at Gates, he's putting someone in there that is not the choice of the establishment by any means.
Yes.
Neither is Kennedy.
Very good. Now, that brings me to my next point, which is that if you look at how Trump handled his initial, we'll call it onboarding, shall we? Like when you
get hired to a new job.
Yes, they call it onboarding, where they train you and then you kind of get yourself set up for any sort of new position. Trump's onboarding this time, compared to what he was doing in this time it would be 2016, he seemed lost on what sort of president he wanted to be, because I think he was torn about having to make nice or play nice or appease. Appease is the word I'm looking for. The establishment wing of the Republican Party. And I think that was much of it was based on the fact that he felt compelled that he had to pick Mike Pence to be his vice president and started trying to take advice from that idiot and look at how it bit him in the backside. So you had these conflicting administration where you did have outsiders, you did have disruptors, you did have people who were in there to shake up the system, which needed to be done. But yet when they were merged with an administration that also had the Dan Coates and Elaine Chaos of the world, it was hard to get any sort of clear, here's where we're going and here's what we're going to try to accomplish, because those two groups of people had very different views and ideas of what accomplishment and success looked like. It appears this time there are no appeasement picks. Even someone like Rubio is lockstep with Trump, because I know people are critical of Rubio being Secretary of State. Rubio is lockstep with Trump on both Iran and China, who are going to be the two biggest things that Trump is going to face in his second term. The Iranian disruption in the Middle East, and obviously China's attempt to dominate that region, and Taiwan, and the stuff with trade. And so even Rubio, who's a more establishment pick, is simpatico with Trump on the key issues. And so I think this time he has said we are turning not just the salt shaker, but the pepper shaker and every other shaker on the table. We are turning it all upside down, and we are going to move that thing back and forth until there's nothing left to come out.
Yeah, and he's also picking people that he believes will be loyal to him. I saw an interview he did back in 1992, and he said, at some point in my life, I'd like to lose it all so that I can gain it all back and find out who's loyal to me.
Well, he did.
He did.
Well, but I mean, he's done that multiple times.
Correct. And now he's doing it with the presidency. He's selecting these people that he believes are going to be loyal to him.
Donald Trump, unlike any other American maybe who has ever lived, has always operated better with his back against the wall. You look at the great Trump success stories, and they are almost always done where people have written him off, or he's down and out, or he's had a financial strife of some sort. And this is just another, I mean, the needle that this guy threaded. Okay, so number one, he loses the election, right? Air quote, loses the election, and he's out. And then, on his way out the door, there's this incredible, what many people would call a national disruption with January 6th, right? And he's blamed for that. And right out of the gate, then there's this January 6th committee. And then these charges start coming down. And there's state charges, and they're in different states. And there's federal charges. And the same time, you've got a huge faction of your own party who's trying to turn against you. And his ability, and then the midterms come, and his candidates don't do very well. And there's a lot of people, even like me, who were saying, you probably cost these people their elections in the fall, and there's statistical data to back that up. And yet he then somehow manages not only to weave and thread all of these criminal charges, and not only weave and thread through them, but end up looking like the baby face out of all of it, like this guy who's been treated so poorly. He then catapults himself back into the presidency. I mean, the only thing that's comparable to it was Richard Nixon. People forget Richard Nixon probably won the 1960 election. Creative jelly bean counting in Illinois took place in Chicago and Cook County, cost him the election. Now, Nixon, unlike Trump, didn't challenge it for the good of the country. But people forget he then went and tried to become governor of California and lost. So Richard Nixon lost the presidential election. He lost the election for governor of California. And yet, 8 years later in 1968, catapulted himself back. It's the only person who ever comes close. But even Nixon, Nixon wasn't facing his livelihood, wasn't on the line. He was just some guy who kept running for public office.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable that Trump won. It's simply unbelievable.
What do you think about his pick for Health and Human Services?
Well, they had to give him something, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't going to leave him out in the cold. And this is one thing that Trump is doing this time that he didn't do the last time, is I think he is better rewarding people who were with him and loyal to the agenda and who he believes will have his back, because that's what he's going to need, is an unwavering group of people who will stand behind him when the you-know-what hits the fan. And I think he's doing that infinitely better than he did the last time.
All right, we're going to get more into this and more of his choices that were announced last night coming up from 93 WIBC.
This is a well-timed message from American Bullion, so get ready to write down an important number or to put it into your phone. Many Americans are owning gold to preserve their wealth and protect themselves from inflation, potential market crashes, and worldwide crises. Why American Bullion? Through American Bullion, you can transfer your existing IRA or roll over your old 401k into an IRA capable of holding precious metals. It's a hassle-free, tax-free process and takes just a few days to complete it. Call us today for your free gold guide and find out how easy it is to own gold and other precious metals. Protect your IRA or old 401k with our hassle-free and tax-free process. American Bullion, where we say, peace of gold, peace of mind. Call 800-456-7475. That's 800-456-7475. 800-456-7475. 800-456-7475.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Who he wants to be a top health leader. Radar is clear, 48 and cloudy downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is being selected by President-elect Trump to head up the Department of Health and Human Services. He said Kennedy will restore health agencies to the traditions of gold standard scientific research and beacons of transparency. The Senate, while the new Senate, may take action to re-implement a few of Trump's immigration policies. Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
Kentucky Senator Rand Paul will be the Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee chairman when Republicans take over the Senate in January. Paul saying he wants to take up Remain in Mexico, a policy that requires those seeking asylum to wait in Mexico until their hearing. Senator Paul says he plans to have a hearing on the policy at the start of the next Congress. The Biden administration ended Remain in Mexico back in 2022. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
The highly anticipated showdown between boxing legend Mike Tyson and YouTube star Jake Paul is happening tonight. Netflix will be streaming the fight between the 58-year-old Tyson and 27-year-old Paul live at AT&T Stadium in Texas. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. Well, the post-election rally seems to have died off. The Dow is down 186 to 43,715. The NASDAQ is down 241 to 20,070. And the S&P 500 is down 39 to 5,938. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Get in gear with fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get a brand new 2024 Navigator. Get an incredible $10,000 off plus 0% for 60 months. Or get $7,000 off select new 2024 Lincoln Aviators plus 0% for 60 months. So get some of those fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Qualified buyers with approved credit. Not all buyers will qualify. Taxes and dealer fees extra. Stock number L24412. MSRP 104,200. Stock number L24208. MSRP 75,300. See dealer for complete details.
A true partner in your health dedicates time to understanding your needs. At CenterWell Senior Primary Care, doctors make one-on-one time with you a priority, so you can get all your questions answered and feel more confident in your health care. See how it feels to have a team of senior care experts working together to help you feel your best. CenterWell, it's about time. Schedule a tour today at meetcenterwell.com. That's meetcenterwell.com.
Don't miss the Flying Toasters 20th anniversary celebration Saturday, November 16th at the Paramount Theater in Anderson with special guest 45 RPM. Tickets available at theflyingtoasters.com.
Hey, Pat Sullivan here from Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Join us this Saturday for our annual Turkey Fest. Grilled turkey, fried turkey, trash can turkey. Just how many ways do we prepare turkey? Well, come find out this Saturday at our 71st and Keystone store. Pick up your copy of the Turkey Fest coupons for added savings, like 25% off any gift shop decor item. Look at our pre-lit artificial Christmas trees. At Sullivan Hardware and Garden, you can actually see 150 different styles of artificial trees already reduced 30%. And at our 71st and Keystone store, climb aboard the Sullivan Express and visit Santa. Book your tickets at sullivanhardware.com. Visit our gift shop, the Yellow House at Sullivan's, for additional savings on Christmas gifts, ornaments, collectibles, and accents. Shop, play, experience. Christmas with Sullivan's. 71st and Keystone, 49th and Penn in Cicero, and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan in Fishers.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Okay, we got this email, and I think this is a fascinating question this guy asked, and I think this is something we need to discuss.
Okay.
All right. So this comes from Michael in Coatesville, and he writes, "Hey, Rob, love to hate you. So on the spectrum, where should Trump be placed between Washington and Hitler? It's interesting how the opinions span. Washington, yeah, stretch, but Hitler, ignorance. Keep up the good work." And I think this is a great point, because we started the show talking about Sylvester Stallone comparing him to Washington and how ridiculous that is. And obviously, on the other end of the spectrum, even more ridiculous is comparing to the guy to Hitler, and then Biden has this meet and greet with Trump yesterday. And what are we led to believe? That if Adolf Hitler
were in the White House, they'd roll out the red carpet.
Right.
Sure.
You know, come on, give me a break. And I think this is a major problem in our society now, is that everybody just goes to camps. Like, it's just camp over here, camp over there. And this is kind of what we talked about last week in regards to the election, which is the right wants to claim this incredible victory and mandate of, see, the people think this, and then the left goes into their camp and say, well, this guy's a Hitler, he's a Nazi, we must resist. I can't believe the people were so stupid. And then there's the people in the middle who actually decide the election, who don't vote based on any of this. They don't think he's Washington. They certainly don't think he's Hitler. They don't think he's anything. They're just like, man, my life is not going so great right now, and I think the government is an impediment to my success.
Let's change direction.
And let's go with something new. And so I just think we got to, like, on both sides of the aisle, we got to really calm it down and have some perspective on this, which is Trump was an okay president his first term.
Spent a lot of money.
He did some really good stuff pre-COVID. The tax reform stuff and helping American corporations be competitive was great. His energy policy was excellent. He was okay on the border. He didn't fulfill a lot of his promises, but he was certainly better than what we had before or after. He was very good on foreign policy, but the guy completely melted down during COVID, and he put this country in a really bad spot. See how easy that is to do? I can tell you both things, which doesn't make him Washington, one of the greatest of Americans who ever lived. It also certainly make him Adolf Hitler.
Right.
It doesn't make him Ronald Reagan. It makes him an above average president, and we'll hope that he does better the next time.
Well, you're right. There's a lot of cheerleading going on right now, and it's the, Avengers Assemble, and he's putting together this amazing team. Well, yes, last term he was anchored by some of the people that were around him, and I think this time he's making sure he doesn't put himself in that situation. I would put him closer to Washington than I would to Hitler, for sure.
Well, right, of course, but it's like it's not either. It's not either of those, nor is it even close. You know what's interesting is I was reading an article, I can't remember if it was the Politico or the Hill this morning, and it was about how Democrats are urging what?
Just some light reading over your cereal.
See, this is the thing. People are always like, Rob doesn't read anything. Like, I don't read books, okay? Like, I don't read, like, I'm honest about it. Like, I don't have the time, but I read a ton. But Casey will back. I'm highly neurotic. I have various levels of obsessive compulsive disorder. My attention span is not great, but I can read articles, and this is why I'm good at my job. I don't have to. I read all day sporadically throughout the day. And so I was reading this article about how the Democrats are urging Biden to do all of these things to try to thwart Trump's presidency. And I was reading this chuckling to myself, because at the end of the article, they go through this whole thing, and they're kind of promoting him doing this because it's the Hill or Politico, one of those, and so they're naturally leaning left. But then in the end, they interview I think it was a U.S. rep, and the guy just goes, wait a second, what's the point in having Biden do any of these things through executive order? Because anything he does, Trump will just undo, and then it will embolden Trump to do more things through executive order that we don't want done. But I was reading this thing to myself. Look, I remember not that long ago where the election was the election, and then the voters sent some sort of mandate, and then there was a seamless transition between whatever party was coming in and going out. And I think when that really stopped was Bill Clinton leaving the office in 2000.
2000, that's when it changed. The hanging chads in Florida.
Yeah, remember they took the W's off the keyboards and the silverware, and it was like that's when we stopped having. It's when whatever the presidency was, and Bush throughout his presidency, he was a bad president, but he sort of contained that level of gravitas that we kind of associated with traditionalism in the White House. But then you got Obama spying on Trump. Obviously, Trump had a very chaotic exit of the White House. Now you've got the Democrats urging Biden to just try to Trump-proof the Trump. And it's like, we have lost all semblance of what this office is and how it's supposed to operate. And I miss the days, and I'm saying this from both parties, where it was like, okay, you govern, people have a referendum on your governance via the election, and then based on that referendum of your governance, we help the people that are coming in, and then you give them an opportunity to screw it up.
But isn't that the way it's going to continue to be when you have such strong rhetoric on both sides? One side, he's Hitler, he's a fascist, and then on the other side, you've got, it's a mandate, and this Trump is the greatest president, he's George Washington. When you have these polarized extremes, you're going to keep doing that every single election.
Sure. It makes it much harder.
It's gonna swing.
It does. It makes it much harder to get to good public policy, because good public policy comes when an engaged citizenry is willing to hold the electorate, or I'm sorry, the elected officials accountable. And you have seen the tribalism. Like Indiana is actually a really great example of this. Look at who our U.S. senators are now. It's Todd Young and it's Jim Banks.
It's the same picture.
It's basically the same guy. Now, in the case of Todd Young, we spent a year telling you, do not elect this guy, right? Like, if you vote for this guy, he's going to screw you again like he screwed you for the previous 6 years. Well, we got to vote for him. He's the Republican. What choice do we have? Well, he spent the last several years siding with Democrats, being praised by Democrats. Biden, Schumer, all these people love Todd Young. I'm sure he voted for John Thune. He hates Trump. And people look around like, I can't believe he would do that. He told you what he was. And yet, because of tribalism and our unwillingness to hold this guy accountable.
But he's the Republican.
He believes he's invincible.
Yeah.
Same thing with Banks. What did we tell you for 2 years about Jim Banks? Any guy that votes for Kevin McCarthy, not your friend. Any guy that votes for Kevin McCarthy cares only about his own elevation. And then when he's running, hey, he won't debate anybody. Well, do not think that guy's going to be remotely accountable to you if he won't even stand on a stage and tell you who he is. But because of tribalism, oh, he's the Republican, we have to vote for him. It happens on both sides. And this is why we have bad government, because we are not willing to step outside of our comfort zone and hold these people to account.
Well, we try.
Well, we try.
We try.
But the public at large, and it's the same way on both sides. I mean, like, AOC has now removed her pronouns from her Twitter bio.
I saw that.
Do you think that's an accident?
Well, she was apologizing for not having them there 2 years ago.
Right.
And as soon as Trump wins and gets this mandate, oh, wait a minute, I got to play ball if I want to keep my job.
Right. And she now recognizes, and because people are starting to say, hey, she's the next answer, well, now you got to start tacking to the center, which means what? She didn't mean any of it. She doesn't. Remember during the election how people lost their minds when Micah Beckwith said, hey, in my office, I'm not going to tolerate people with their pronouns, and people, that was what they lost their mind over?
That was just recently.
Well, now take it up with AOC.
Right.
Because she just removed the pronouns. So I guess AOC and Micah Beckwith agree on using your pronouns.
Isn't that weird? Because they could not be more polar opposite.
The point is, one of the reasons I have a great deal of respect for there are many reasons I have a great deal of respect for someone like Micah Beckwith, but the main reason is he never changes. It doesn't matter what position he's in, and it doesn't matter what he's leaning into, and it doesn't matter whether I agree with whether it's the right thing to lean in at the right time. Casey will back
Maybe
this.
even to his own detriment.
Well, Casey and I will back this up. Micah and I, over the past couple days, have had some fun conversations about what we lean into and when. But the point is, I never have to worry about him coming from a point of consistency and what he believes and saying what he means. And even when I don't agree with the things he's choosing to wade into, I know I'm never going to get phony baloney bullcrap. These people, the overwhelming majority of these people, that is what they are. They are phony baloney bullcrap. They'll say or do whatever it takes to be successful in the moment, and then when the winds change or that thing no longer comes in vogue, see AOC removing her pronouns.
Correct.
They'll do it.
Yeah, exactly.
This is why our country has run right. Oh, boy, I almost said the big one. This is why our country has run right down the gutter, Casey.
Did you see that Nancy Pelosi has filed for re-election? 84 years old.
I thought she was done. Wait.
Nope, yesterday she filed for re-election.
Time out. We got to take a break. I know we got to get you a break. We have to talk about this when we come back, because I was told several years ago that she wanted one more shot at being the speaker, and then she was out.
Well, again, not being true to their words. This just goes along with that. She said she was going to be done, right?
Yeah, we got to talk about this. Let's take a break.
Okay, it's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. Good morning.
When you have a fire emergency, you need a restoration company you can trust to put everything back together. Pat Sullivan here for the Michaelis Corporation. I know. I've relied on Michaelis after a fire at my home. I'm here with the owner, Richard Michaelis. Richard, what makes Michaelis the right call if you have a fire?
Michaelis is local and family owned. We are your neighbors, 39 years of experience, and we'll respond 24/7, 365. The Michaelis Corporation is IICRC certified. We will restore your home or business to pre-loss condition or better.
I've lived it. Michaelis was on the scene at my home before the firefighters had even rolled up their hoses. They asked me about calling a restoration company. I told them I had Michaelis. They told me Michaelis was the real deal. You help with insurance, too?
Yes, we'll work through the insurance process to give you peace of mind.
Water, storms, fire, and mold. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Text or call 844-FIXED-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
My name is Dawn, and I'm a former Marine, and I get my health care at Veteran Health Indiana. Just this week, when I was worried about how my hand was healing, I called the patient care line, talked to a nurse, and had an appointment to see my doctor for the next day. I trust my care team, and I trust Veteran Health Indiana.
Did you or a loved one serve in the United States military? You need to learn more about the veterans' health benefits that could be available to you. Visit vacares.us. That's vacares.us. And thank you for your service.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate. 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Jesus, that name invokes a response. Some love him, some are unsure about him, some are indifferent to him, and some hate him. Wherever you land, join us at Life Church as we journey through the book of John to discover who Jesus actually is. You can go to lifechurchin.com for campus locations and service times. And whatever you think you may know about Jesus, we promise you there's more.
Don't you deserve health care you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Indianapolis, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Join WIBC this Saturday for the Home and Garden Show live from Sullivan Hardware and Garden at 71st and Keystone from 9 to 1 for Turkey Fest. Come sample Thanksgiving sides and gobble up some turkey at Turkey Fest with Sullivan Hardware and Garden and 93 WIBC.
According to federal election filings, Nancy Pelosi seeking re-election in 2026. She'll be 86 years old when this happens. She has represented California's 11th congressional district, which includes San Francisco, since 1987. So my entire adult life.
Yeah, so let's see, 1987.
Almost your entire life.
Yeah, and isn't that, I mean, it's disgusting, right? I mean, it is, and this is why another reason our country is in the position it is. And she's a perfect example of multiple things. Number one, it's the refusal to ever leave. These people get in there and they grift. I mean, the amount of stuff that she's been involved in that because she writes the rules, has made it so that she can do it, that if you or I did it, we go to federal prison, is off the charts. And that's why so many of these people go into Washington, regular people, and they come out millionaires without making the amount of money that you would say, okay, that person was able to grow their wealth or portfolio. But it's also that you get, when do you think that is the last time Nancy Pelosi had an original idea, like a new forward-thinking idea?
Yeah, she's got the bar in Congress.
You mean like an actual bar
where
people go drink?
Yeah, there's an actual bar there, and
of course there is.
She opened it's a liquor store in the house where members can buy alcohol.
And it's only during like office hours, right? Isn't it? I don't think it's open at night. But the other thing is, these people's word means nothing, because remember a couple of years ago when she was trying to hang on, or she wanted to be Speaker of the House again, whenever they got the Congress back. That must have been 2018. Yeah, it was 2018. The Democrats got control of the House of Representatives back, and the big question was who's going to be Speaker of the House again. And she came out and said, I want 2 more terms as Speaker of the House, and then that's it. I'm going to sail off into the sunset. Well, then she serves those 2 terms. And not only does she not sail off into the sunset, she runs for re-election again. Now, she's not in leadership anymore, but she's still there, and she's running again this time, and she will win.
A spokesperson said the paperwork's an early indication of her intentions, but nothing's set in stone. Here's what I think may be happening with her. She's filing all the paperwork. She plans to run. She's got the bankroll to do it, right? As soon as she gets in, then she'll step down so they can appoint her replacement.
Well, that's a strong possibility, and that happens all the time here in Indiana. Look at all of these people these senators or whatever, who quit in the middle of their term. They take away your right to vote. The party appoints some insider, and then the insider has the fundraising advantage, and, look at him or her go, because they have a giant head start on everyone else. So, yeah, you're probably 100%. But ultimately, we are to blame for all of this. We allow this stuff to happen. It happens in both parties. It happens all over this country, and this is why our country, again, is in the shape that it is.
Well, because of this, there's another strong call for the Trump administration to implement term limits. Do that, and we wouldn't be talking about this.
And we go back and forth on this, because on one hand, yes, absolutely, if you had term limits, I think a lot of this stuff would cease to exist. But also, we have the ability to be the term limits.
Right.
I mean, and we just choose not to do it.
I just can't imagine. I was talking about this with my brother. We love San Francisco. Such a beautiful city.
Is it still?
But not anymore.
Yeah.
And yet those people keep re-electing her.
Yeah.
Look around. Why would they do that?
You get the government. Well, it's the same question here in Indianapolis. Why do we keep voting for Joe Hogsett? Why do people keep voting for Andre Carson? I mean, look, Andre Carson won, 70% of the vote again this time, just like he always does. And it's just gerrymandering is a big part of it. The districts are carved, and it's true in blue states, and it's true in red states. Both sides complain about it when it's happening to them, but their side does it in the states that they control. And gerrymandering is a big thing now, where basically, if you're the party's nominee, you almost, in most cases, cannot lose. And so, voila, and look like a city like Indianapolis. Any person with common sense, no offense, Hammer, no offense, Casey, has gotten the heck out of this place.
Not me. I got right back in, didn't I?
You moved in here. I don't know what the real estate person told you, but wow, good job by them. I mean, most common sense people, and there are people like Casey who got suckered, and then there's people like Hammer who are just lifers, and they said, I'm not leaving. But most people have said, if I can, I'm going to get out of Indianapolis because it is a cesspool of awful, and it just leaves mostly Democrat voters to pick almost exclusively Democrat candidates.
Okay, another appointment that was announced yesterday from Donald Trump was the Secretary of the Interior, and he named Doug Burgum.
This is the most uninteresting office of all of the cabinet positions, I think, because everybody sees it every single time and nobody actually knows
what they do.
What does the actual do? Let's see. Shall I read it from Wikipedia so we can educate our audience?
Sure.
The United States Secretary of the Interior is the head of the United States Department of Interior. No kidding. The Secretary of the Department of Interior are responsible for the management and conservation of most federal land, along with natural resources, leading such agencies as the Bureau of Land Management, the original BLM, the United States Geological Survey, Bureau of Indian Affairs, which is the big one, and the National Park Service.
Yeah, so that's a big deal, like if you'd like to go to the parks, because now Doug Burgum is your guy. He's going to be managing the national parks, also the monuments, and he also focuses on Native American tribes.
It's almost impossible to screw this one up. Like if you just wanted an easy one to stay out of the spotlight and go, I'm in the cabinet, the Secretary of the Interior, yeah, that's the one you want.
That's what I got.
It's like Kurt Darling doing the news. It's almost impossible to screw it up.
But we're going to give him a chance coming up from 93 WIBC. Good morning.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
In the fight against lung cancer, it's game on, game strong. Franciscan Health leads the way with robotic technology to find and treat cancer sooner. Our entire team of multidisciplinary experts let cancer know it's hard to play against us. Franciscan Health is changing the game for lung cancer patients. Schedule a consultation or second opinion today. Visit franciscanhealth.org/lung cancer care.
An official message from Medicare.
Couple more minutes and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you gotta make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Get in gear with fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get a brand new 2024 Navigator. Get an incredible $10,000 off plus 0% for 60 months. Or get $7,000 off select new 2024 Lincoln Aviators plus 0% for 60 months. So get some of those fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Qualified buyers with approved credit. Not all buyers will qualify. Taxes and dealer fees extra. Stock number L24412. MSRP 104,200. Stock number L24208. MSRP 75,300. See dealer for complete details.
Do you need furnace or heat pump service and need to find a local well-trained expert you can trust like Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning? Find that American Standard Air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
Get ready. The brand new Fishers Event Center is opening the doors on November 22nd, and you won't want to miss it. From electrifying concerts to pulse-pounding sports events, dazzling theatrical performances to unforgettable family fun days, Fishers Event Center is the ultra-modern entertainment arena that offers something special for everyone. Unforgettable experiences begin November 22nd. For a complete list of upcoming events, tickets, and more details, go to fisherseventcenter.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, an unfortunate development in the shooting of a teenage boy in Greenwood from last week, plus why Indy cops had to fire their weapons on Thursday, and a controversial state law is upheld by a federal appeals court. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
The Laken Riley murder trial starts today. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. She's the 22-year-old nursing student killed on a jogging trail at the University of Georgia in February. Fox's Madison Scarpino in Athens, Georgia.
There will be cameras in court throughout the entire trial. We'll see the suspect, 26-year-old Jose Ibarra, who ICE says entered the country illegally from Venezuela. Ibarra has remained pretty stoic through all of his pretrial hearings, and Riley's family will likely fill part of the courtroom. They've been understandably distraught every time they've seen their daughter's alleged killer in court. And Ibarra is facing 10 charges for Riley's death, including malice murder, kidnapping, aggravated assault with attempt to rape, and stopping Riley from making a 911 call.
Ibarra's being tried by a judge, not a jury, at his request. He was arrested and released 3 times before the murder after entering the country illegally, in New York for having his wife's 5-year-old son on the back of a moped, then in Georgia with his brother for allegedly stealing from a Walmart. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for Health and Human Services Secretary is the latest Trump nominee expected to face significant opposition during the Senate confirmation process.
Other nominees are likely to face smoother confirmations, including former Congressman Doug Collins to lead Veterans Affairs and North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum to be Interior Secretary. President-elect Trump is also nominating 2 of his criminal defense attorneys, Todd Blanche and Emile Beauvais, to senior Justice Department posts. Both are former federal prosecutors. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Another tough swallow for some senators will be Attorney General nominee Matt Gaetz. Current Attorney General Merrick Garland this morning at a Drug Enforcement Agency summit on fentanyl.
In 2024, the DEA seized more than 47 million fentanyl pills.
7 out of 10 with enough drugs to kill someone, he says. It's another down day so far on Wall Street. The Dow is down 262. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The teenager has died. It's 47 and cloudy downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. You may remember the teenage boy who was shot by another teenage boy last week in Greenwood. Investigators now saying that 13-year-old boy, James Davis, has died. Davis was shot when another teenager was messing around with a gun at a home. That boy has now been charged with attempted murder, but you can expect those charges to likely be upped now with Davis's death. Someone was shot by an IMPD officer Thursday.
Just after 4 p.m., officers in IMPD North District responded to a check the welfare of a person inside of a vehicle at a drive-thru.
Officer William Young says that person hit another officer with a car, and then another officer then shot the driver. Both were sent to the hospital and are expected to be okay. A federal appeals court ruled Wednesday that the state's gender-affirming care ban for kids is lawful. Sasha Nixon reports.
Essentially, the ban prevents minors from undergoing certain hormone therapies, gender-affirming surgeries, and more. More than 20 states have passed similar bans. The ACLU tweeted, "Trans Hoosiers are an invaluable part of our communities, and our state is better because of them." Attorney General Todd Rokita posted that the ban will help protect our most precious gift from God, our children. Sasha Nixon, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
A deputy prosecutor fired in Hancock County over social media posts she made about the outcome of the presidential election. In a post on Facebook, Jordan Willette Stroh likened people who voted for Donald Trump to Nazis. Prosecutor Brent Eaton fired her for that. IU law professor Steve Sanders tells Wish TV that Eaton has some standing.
She not only expressed political views about Trump, she attacked the people who are supporting Trump. And so I think think that just changes the calculus.
In a statement, Stroh said that her political opinions held no bearing on how she did her job. The Indiana Pacers start group play in the Emirates NBA Cup tonight. They take on the Miami Heat at 7 o'clock. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WYBC.com.
Here is Jiffy Lube of Indiana's COO, Lonnie Hinkle.
Lots of Hoosiers belong to unlimited car wash programs because they want their car to look great. At Jiffy Lube, we're here to help you make sure your car runs great. So to help take care of your car inside and out, Jiffy Lube is offering everyone who belongs to a monthly car wash program a $20 discount and a free tire rotation from now through the end of the year. Just point out your car wash sticker and we'll do the rest. My Jiffy Lube teams are maintenance experts. Our computer system provides all of the manufacturer's maintenance recommendations for every make and model of vehicle, so we know exactly what every car needs to operate at its best. Jiffy Lube is your trusted one-stop shop for all that your car needs to run well for many years. You never need an appointment, and we now offer brakes, tires, tune-ups, and minor repairs at most stores. So stop in on your way to the car wash, save $20, plus get a free tire rotation just for belonging to a monthly car wash program.
Jiffy Lube. Nobody does it better.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Family Heating and Air, your American Standard air dealer in Indianapolis.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Friday, November 15th. It's 5 minutes after 10. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Rob, are you ready to make your money? Earn your paycheck?
Oh, how exciting.
Here we go. The
doing?
Onion won the auction to acquire Alex Jones's InfoWars. It was sold off, part of the defamation settlement.
Okay, so this is now held up in court. Alex Jones came out. So a little reset on this.
Yeah.
So Alex Jones is a complete shyster, huckster, con man who makes our lives, who do legitimate media, incredibly difficult. And he has basically admitted under oath in a court deposition, I believe this was related to his custody battle with his ex-wife, that he is putting on a show. He basically admitted that this is an act he's performing.
He's doing it for clicks and likes.
Right. The problem is, a guy like this, and I know there's a certain small segment of our audience who love and live off Alex Jones and get mad when I rip him, but a guy like this makes legitimate media like us much harder to do our jobs because he doesn't run in the realm of the real or the responsible. He is like WWF of the 1980s and 90s, but he presents himself as real. And he says ridiculous things that then some people take as fact and put it out in the ether, and then people like us who are legitimate broadcasters who are trying to legitimately move and shape public policy around responsible government then have to put these flames out, and we all get painted with the same brush because of idiots like this. So what he did, amongst the almost daily gross and irresponsible things he will say, is he made a claim that the horrible, awful, terrible shooting in Sandy Hook, that basically that wasn't real and those people were crisis actors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the parents who were, obviously, as a parent myself, you're a parent, I can think of nothing worse than losing your child. I cannot think of a worse thing to happen to you on this earth than to lose a child. And not that there's in any way to lose a child that's any better than anything else, but to lose it in a school shooting, when you send your kid to a school where you expect and count on them being safe and taken care of, and for them to not come home one day, it's horrible. It's horrible, horrible, horrible. And for him to say that, these parents sued him, and rightfully so, won, and were basically able, by rule of a court of law, able to take everything this guy has related to his business.
Okay, he said that he announced it was for sale on X, and he said that it's all part of his bankrupt proceedings and that it would be shut down and that he was going to stay until the lights go off. And then the lights did go off, and The Onion won the auction to buy him.
Yeah, so as part of this and what he owes, I mean, it's like OJ in the sense of these families are never going to get what they're entitled to. He will never pay it because, again, he's a huckster, con man, shyster, fraud, and he will never pay them what he is obligated to. But as part of this, with his bankruptcy, all of this stuff had to be put up for sale, and The Onion won a
satirical news site.
Right. You see their stuff all the time. It's clearly stuff made in humor, and it's very obvious it's in humor. And I'm sure if you have been on the internet or any social media for 20 minutes or more, you've seen a post from these guys. They won the InfoWars bidding, and now a judge, a U.S. bankruptcy court judge in Houston, has said, hang on a second here. I am concerned about the process on this. And so The Onion, I guess, as of right now, will not take control of Alex Jones's assets.
Yes, apparently the judge is blocking the sale because of how the auction was conducted. Okay, so what are the actual proceeds of the sale? That's what you were wondering.
Well,
how much money is really involved
and this
in this?
This was amazing to me that this guy is able to. I mean, he has admitted. He has admitted under deposition that he's playing a character, that this is an act, right? When he wanted to try to save, because what his ex-wife had basically said is, look at this guy. This guy should not be in charge of children. Look at how he behaves. And as part of that, and I'm simplifying a very, and obviously this went on for a deposition and everything else. He basically said, I'm acting. This is not real. I'm playing a character. And so under deposition, he admitted what I'm telling you right now, which is that's an act. And he took it way too far. He took it way too far in insinuating that these children were not actually dead, that these parents and everything else were crisis actors, that this didn't actually happen. And I am amazed at the amount of money that this guy had wrapped up or still available in this thing.
So the auction included production rights, materials, assets like domain names, production equipment, vehicles. And his company had assets like $6 million in cash and also $1.2 million in inventory. And he's remaining defiant, claiming that his followers would continue to support him and he'll just go to alternative channels. So even if they shut it down, The Onion takes over, he's going to keep on doing what he does.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going back because as usual, there's a bunch of people in the YouTube who just love this guy and live off of every word that he says that are trying to say we're getting it wrong. All right, here we go. From, what is the date on this? April 17, 2017, NBC News. InfoWars Alex Jones is a, quote, performance artist, his lawyer says in divorce hearing. That they admitted it. Like they admitted that what this guy is doing is designed to get vulnerable people, gullible people to buy into his bullcrap. And that's fine. You're allowed to listen or consume whatever you want. You're a free American and you can think he's hilariously entertaining. We used to, when I worked with the women, we used to chuckle at him all the time. We would play his clips and chuckle at them. Now, we did it from the standpoint of the guy's a complete idiot, and we would chuckle that people buy into his bullcrap. Yeah, here's the quote. Quote, he's playing a character and is nothing like his online persona, attorney Randall Wilhite reportedly insisted in a Texas courtroom at a pretrial hearing ahead of the right-wing radio's shock jock's custody battle with his ex-wife, Kelly Jones. The prosecution rests, Your Honor, and that's fine. You can do whatever you want. Look, we're in the entertainment business, but what you can't do, it doesn't give you carte blanche to say whatever you want to say. Present yourself as a real person, and then go, I was just messing around.
That was all an act.
I was just screwing around.
Okay, well, he's saying that the highest bid for InfoWars wasn't accepted and that they accepted the lower bid from The Onion just as punishment towards him.
Yeah, and look, these people deserve now. There was some sort of coordination, and this is why he's pushing back on this. There was apparently some sort of alleged coordination between The Onion and this parents the group that sued him, and that's why they want the information. Now, look, he has every right to do that, and apparently there's at least a judge who is willing to say, yeah, something may not be on the up and up here. Let's look into it. He has every right to do that, and he should certainly do that. But I'm never going to validate this guy. I'm never going to act like he's someone that people should listen to or pay attention to. People like Alex Jones make legitimate, mainstream, conservative, people who are actually interested in liberty and freedom in our business. He makes our job infinitely harder.
He does have a lot of people that follow him. And here's this woman. She has a very squeaky voice. But she says it doesn't matter if The Onion buys him or anybody else because people listen to him for him. And just like Tucker Carlson, they're going to follow him wherever he goes.
The whole InfoWars purchase, they're not shutting down Alex Jones. Alex Jones is InfoWars. People watch InfoWars to watch Alex Jones. So his name is the business. It's not InfoWars. So it's hilarious that The Onion bought it to them, I guess. Yeah, funny, haha, but is anyone paying attention to The Onion? Has anyone paid attention to The Onion? And this was all a part of the lawsuit from the families of Sandy Hook. Now, I don't agree with this lawsuit, but The Onion, yeah, it's all funny now, but these families, they're not getting any money out of this. Have they gotten any money? Nope. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen down the road? And in January, when The Onion takes over, is anyone even going to be paying attention to this anymore? I highly doubt it. I didn't even know The Onion was still in... Are they still in business? Do they still make things? InfoWars was Alex Jones. This is their shtick that they might be able to use for a few weeks, maybe a month, maybe 2 months, 3 if they're lucky, but it's not a sustainable... I don't know. It was a shtick and not a very smart one, in my opinion.
Okay, now, see, it was my understanding from some of the things I'd read, and maybe I misinterpreted that this group was supportive of the Onion buying.
The families of Sandy Hook.
Yeah, maybe I misunderstood. But, okay, so keep in mind, now let's go back for the people who are the Jones defenders, right? This is an NPR article from August of 2022. This is Jones in court. Especially since I've met the parents, it's 100% real. He then went on to say, Jones told the jury any compensation above $2 million, quote, will sink us. Well, wait a second, Casey. Can you read the information on what?
The auction details?
Yeah.
Besides all of the equipment and the vehicles and the production rights and the assets, the domain names, he's got $6 million in cash and $1.2 million in inventory.
Well, wait a second. How could you say that anything above $2 million would sink you if you had $6 million in cash?
Yeah, well, the $6 million in cash, that's reporting from NBC. But the sale proceeds, the funds from the sale, they're aimed at paying off his estate creditors, which includes the Sandy Hook families.
Yeah, I mean, look, this guy said it. It was totally irresponsible. I'm glad they went after him. I'm glad they won. He had to get under oath before he would admit that what happened was real.
Mm-hmm.
You will never know, and thankfully most people will never, ever know the pain of what these parents went through. And for him to say that about this horrific, horrible event was just awful.
Yeah, it was. But to that squeaky woman's point, it doesn't matter because if you're a fan of him, no matter who buys InfoWars, he'll end up somewhere and they will follow him.
Well, you're right. And this is it's almost it's like OJ-esque, right? Like there's only so much you can take. It sounds like they'll get that. But then he's like the Michael Scott Paper Company, right? He shut me down here. I'll just start up another one over here. And there will be people who will continue to follow this guy around, which is, look, it's your right as an American if you want to consume this. But just remember, his attorneys, he's admitted these things under oath. And if you want to consume it, fine, but just know what you're consuming.
Yeah, exactly.
And just know the harm.
Buyer beware.
Legitimate harm this guy has caused people.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Republicans will retain control of the House after flipping the White House and the Senate.
93 WIBC.
Next week, it's the G20 summit in Brazil.
Hear the news.
The NFL Scouting Combine is staying in Indianapolis through 2026, 39th consecutive year in Indianapolis.
Another news update is minutes away.
The Indiana Pacers.
The Pacers, disastrous fourth quarter, and they lose it 94-90.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
It's a bully that will not let up until you do something about it. And the worst part is that the bullying happens when you're at your most vulnerable. You might as well have your hands tied behind your back while that bully puts one hand over your mouth and pinches your nose with the other. He'll let up, let you catch your breath, and then he'll do it again. Sleep apnea is a bully. Not long ago, we heard our friend John tell you about how his bully was stopping his breathing in his sleep over 145 times an hour. Think about what that can do to your body's organs. It's no wonder that the snowball effects of long-term obstructive sleep apnea are heart disease, stroke, even depression and anxiety. But this problem is solvable, and we have solutions, and you'll be surprised at how simple they are.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. It's time to put that bully in his place. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
Indiana Pathways for Aging helps Hoosier Medicaid members age 60 and over get support at no additional cost to live life their way.
Mom's Parkinson's is progressing, and Pathways provides in-home support so she can be with family every day.
Pathways coordinates Medicaid and Medicare services. I'm getting help with meals, personal care, and transportation.
One day, I might choose a nursing home, but today, I have options with Pathways.
To learn more, eligible members call 87 Pathway 4 or visit in.gov/pathways.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
800-216-7531. 800-216-7531. That's 800-216-7531.
Everyone knows that soaking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub.
Royal Spa.
There's a new trend going around. Don't know if you've heard about this one, but liberal women, they are withholding sex and also shaving their heads. This in protest of President-elect Donald Trump's landslide victory.
Yeah, but have you seen the women that are doing this?
Yeah.
I mean, I saw... And
well, not in person, but...
I mean, well, but on the internet.
Yeah.
Okay, so like... And I don't notice people's appearances, but if you're going to put yourself out into the internet, I'm going to, and say, look at me, then I'm going to comment and look at you, right? Like, there was some woman, and she's super famous now on the internet, who looks like Jabba the Hutt. You've seen this woman, I'm sure. You know who I'm talking about. And is talking about these exact things. And it's like, lady, I don't think this is going to be a problem for you. I think the withholding is already being done by force rather than by choice, because like, look at you. And it's just like, who do you like, who other than us applauding you for doing a service to society, what do you think we're going to look at you and go, oh no, you're shaving your head and withholding sex, oh society will probably cease to function now? Like, what world do you think you're living in where anybody cares or anybody is going to say anything other than thank you?
So this was inspired by South Korea's 4B movement, which stands for four. The B is a word in Korean, and it's like 4 no's: no sex, no dating, no marriage, and no having children.
Oh.
And Rob, the pro-life movement is working already because they're withholding sex because they can't have abortions.
Oh, that's funny.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, the reaction to this is doing nothing other than reaffirming to people in the middle, because as we talked about many times, we actually started the show with this today. There's 40% over here. There's 40% over here. And it's just noise, 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 noise. Echo chamber, echo chamber, echo chamber, echo chamber. It's like the South Park episode of I'm a little bit country, you're a little bit rock and roll, right? Like, you're not changing people over here. You're not changing people over here. The fight is for the people in the center, and those people think both sides are crazy, and they make up their mind based on what is going on in their personal existence and how they feel in that moment in time. And all you're doing when you are behaving in this manner is telling those people who they don't care at all. They see you behave in this manner, and they go, yeah, I guess I made the right choice. That's all you're doing. You're just reaffirming their choice.
So they have a new spokesperson. Whoopi Goldberg has announced that she's joining women in their sex strike.
This. We all came from I dare. Yeah, you didn't get here by yourself, man. You can't do this without us. Yeah. And if we don't let you, you don't get any. It's that simple. It's that simple.
Oh, shucks, Rob.
Well, I mean, I don't know how to respond to this, because this is certainly, there is no strike in my house. I don't know what else to say other than, my wife didn't get this memo, because this is not happening in my house. I mean, like, they act like this self-importance of these people as though there are not, countless people who are in actively committed, loving relationships who are, like, they're such a minority, right? Mm-hmm. They're just such a minority of people, and they act as though their insanity or their ridiculousness is some sort of mainstream movement, and as though sex is going to cease to be taking place and children are going to cease to be being formed and created. It just, you look at this and it's like you want to just Nelson Muntz, the guy from The Simpsons, and go ha ha at every single one of these people, because you are clowns.
Well, if you're on the dating scene, it will be a lot easier to identify somebody who has your same set of beliefs, because if they're bald and wearing a blue bracelet, maybe that's not the love match for you.
Well, I mean, it's like, what are we going to go around going, there is some sort of societal loss because a bunch of nut jobs, of which I guess Whoopi Goldberg is the spokes. How old is Whoopi Goldberg? Let's see here. How old? What are we doing? Price is Right rules. What are we doing on Whoopi Goldberg? 66. Kevin, what are you at on Whoopi Goldberg? I've not looked it up yet.
I think she's 68.
68. I will say you are both low. I think she's actually in her mid-70s.
Okay.
But the high number is currently 68. I'll say 69. Whoopi Goldberg is... Oh, she's 69 exactly.
Look at you. You're 2 for 2 today.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, so she's one of the many celebrities like Cher and Miley Cyrus and Barbara Streisand, all these people who say, they're going to leave the country if Donald Trump wins the presidential election, right? Hard to say bye-bye when they never actually leave. But so Whoopi Goldberg said in 2016 that she was going to leave the country because she can afford it, right? Well, here she is this time when Donald Trump wins, and this is what she's saying.
I appreciate that people are having a hard time. Me too.
Yeah.
I work for a living. If I had all the money in the world, I would not be here.
So which one is it? Does she have all the money that she can leave the country because she can afford it in 2016, but now in 2024, she's got to work for a living? She's worth $60 million, Rob. That's her net worth.
Yeah, but I mean, let's go back to the Whoopi Goldberg sex strike for a moment, shall we? Okay.
You want to focus on that some
Well,
more?
just the ridiculousness of this. Like, again, and I don't notice people's appearances. There was a time where I did, though.
Yeah.
And trying to recall those moments where I did notice people's appearances. Okay, this woman was never Bo Derek. This woman was never Farrah Fawcett. She was, she was never Christy Brinkley. All right, this woman was much more in the Rosie O'Donnell camp than any sort of sex symbol or woman on a poster or someone that men other than Ted Danson fantasized about being with. And so in her yeah, it's funny, darling. I see you in there laughing. That is funny. Good luck doing your newscast straight-faced after that. But the point in all of this is she acts as though men everywhere are going to be going, oh, my gosh, Whoopi Goldberg at 69 years old.
She's
isn't
withholding.
having sex with anyone. Oh, my gosh, what have we done? It's just these people are ridiculous.
So
Ridiculous.
Newsmax is reporting that shows like The View and also CNN are now scrambling to find Republican voices add to their cast.
But this is the problem, Casey. They will find Republican voices. And what is our new saying on this show?
Right.
The Republicans...
Our ass.
That's right. They will have crappy Republican ass brand moderate establishment people who still aren't going to solve their problem.
But it's just like AOC, who deleted her pronouns because they know which way the winds are shifting and they still want to be involved.
You betcha. Yeah. Hey, our voicemail's next.
Yeah, we've got
Good
a
luck
couple
with
of
the
those.
news, Kurt.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Healthcare.gov has plans for health because you have plans for life. All plans cover doctor visits and emergency care to keep you and your family running strong. All plans cover hospital stays and prescriptions so you can have peace of mind. Visit healthcare.gov to explore health plans from the brands you know. 4 out of 5 customers can find a health plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Enroll at healthcare.gov by December 15th for coverage starting January 1st. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The murder trial starts today. It's cloudy and 48 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. The trial of an illegal immigrant charged with the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley is underway. The suspect, Jose Ibarra, waived his right to a jury trial earlier this week, so his fate will be directly decided by a judge in a bench trial. Some lawmakers want the president to sanction Israel. Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
A letter signed by nearly 90 Democrats in Congress claimed cabinet members of Israel's government have incited violence in the West Bank against Palestinians. The letter was sent in October, but is now being made public after the White House didn't respond. Lawmakers argue President Biden can use executive order to issue sanctions, which they believe would send a message that the United States is not going to, quote, rubber stamp to the Netanyahu government's extreme actions. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
Retail sales were up 0.4% in October. The Census Bureau estimates that Americans spent $719 billion last month, which is slightly better than expected. I'm a straight-faced Kurt Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Indy, tired of using the fall to paint your house year after year? Then do what Deanna did. She called Rhino Shield.
I was noticing some cracks and the paint's faded. I was like, okay, I think I should get my house painted. So my neighbor had a Rhino Shield placard in the yard. And after they were finished, I was just, wow. With the warranty and everything, it just seemed silly not to go that route.
The ceramic coating of Rhino Shield is specifically formulated for our climate.
So the Rhino Shield crew came out. Nothing was damaged in the process. I was very happy. You couldn't even tell they were there. And the house looked so different. It just looked like a new home.
And right now, Indy, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price. Plus, there's more great news. Rhino Shield has partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer affordable monthly payments with 0% interest loans to qualified customers.
I think it increases the curb appeal of your home. Definitely worth it.
Here's Rhino Shield Shane Smith.
Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint. Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
Hello, friends. It's Friday. That means Sunday is right around the corner. And this Sunday, if you're feeling called to something different, it could be a new church home or even a first church home. And if that's you, check out my friends at Life Church. We talk about all the time what a great impact Life Church has had on my life, on my family's life. And this Sunday, they'd love the opportunity to meet and welcome you and your family. Life Church is warm. They're welcoming. Many WIBC listeners have found a home at Life Church over the years. I meet them all the time. See it for yourself. They make it easy for you. Campuses all across central Indiana, Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton, plus amazing online services. You can learn more about everything at lifechurchcheyenne.com.
Friendly reminder to change your filter. Head on over to our website at familyhvac.net for some of the best pricing on filters around.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for advice and fun, brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatments at 317-559-PAIN.
Okay, this is going to work out perfect because coming up next hour, Abdul is going to join us.
Yeah.
And we're going to educate our listeners because as every time we talk about Alex Jones, it's the same little batch of misfits who hop in here and are like, well, I guess you're for silencing free speech. No. You're allowed to have whatever words you want come out of your mouth. And then based on what those words are, and any person certainly of Alex Jones' stature should know this, there are potentially ramifications for things you say or things you type on the internet in some cases. And coming up next hour, Abdul was just awarded a large amount of money over something some idiot put on the internet.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be perfect because Abdul is going to lay out from a legal perspective what those standards are and why he was just awarded a large amount of money. It is not about free speech. It is about there are standards on what you can say. You can't just make things up. You can't say things that you know are patently false. And if you do that, especially about people who are not public figures, there's a higher standard for public figures. But in the case of Alex Jones, he said things that were patently false, which he essentially admitted under oath about people who were not public figures. You can't just do that. That's not how this operates. That's not freedom of speech. That's being an a-hole. That's using your position to paint people who are not public figures knowingly in a patently false manner, which is what Alex Jones did. He didn't go after politicians. He didn't go after big-time celebrities. He said something that he later admitted under oath was patently false and incredibly damaging about parents of the victim of school shootings. This is not about freedom of speech. This is about that guy used his position to say something he knew was blatantly false. He failed to correct the record when he was given an opportunity. And then under oath, he admitted what he did. That's not freedom of speech. That's not freedom of speech. That's not how the legal system works in this country, and he knew it, and he's paying the price for it. You people who are defending Alex Jones for what he said about those parents, when he admitted what he did, the facts are not in dispute here. You really need to look yourself in the mirror and think, if you were the victim, just ask yourself this, if heaven forbid, and I hope this never happens to anyone, ever, but if you are a person who is still defending Alex Jones and acting as though he's some sort of victim in all of this, if you were heaven forbid, your son or daughter were the victim of a school shooting, and Alex Jones said the same thing about you that he did about those parents, how would you respond to that? How would you respond to that? And if your answer is, I would respond any differently than what these parents did, man, good luck with the rest of your existence.
There are consequences to what you say.
Right.
Yeah.
He's allowed to have whatever words he wants come out of his mouth. And there are potentially consequences. As some local goof just found out, you can type whatever you want to on the internet. There are potentially consequences for that. Abdul will be with us next hour to talk about the sizable amount of money he was just awarded for somebody doing just that. So that's going to work out. I know we're getting to voicemails, but that's just going to work out just perfect for all of you fine folks who think Alex Jones is some sort of, victim of a miscarriage of justice. We'll talk about what the law says coming up next hour.
Okay. The phone number, 317-684-8444. It is time to get some voicemails with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And we start off, so there's been some talk about Laura Trump being named as a senator in Florida, and somebody wanted to call and talk about that.
Heard your show today, and you were talking about Laura Trump becoming the senator from Florida. This is really interesting to me. The fact that she made her home in Florida, she probably lives at Daddy's estate in Mar-a-Lago, her and Eric. And if she would become a senator, would she be staying at the White House while she's in Washington? Just a thought. And if they go in recess, would she be flying down to Mar-a-Lago with Daddy on one of his weekend excursions? And then when recess is over, time to come back, fly back with Daddy from one of his weekends there. Of course, he's there pretty much as he's in Washington. He's there in Mar-a-Lago. But anyway, it's just a whole thing about living off the government dime. And just think about this. With Eric being a businessman, this could be the new Nancy Pelosi dynasty, where she's in the Senate. Of course, Nancy Pelosi was in the Congress, but she's in the Senate and feeding information to Eric, and they become even richer than what they are. Just kind of a thought. Just thought it was interesting. Love your show. Keep up the good work.
Okay, so Laura and Eric Trump, they do live in Florida. It's a $3.2 million mansion. It's in Palm Beach. It is in the Trump National Golf Club gated community in Jupiter. But here's something else to consider about this if Laura Trump were to become a senator in Florida. There's only 100 people in the Senate. It's a pretty small club. And that's why there are so many backdoor deals. It's not large like the House of Representatives, right? So they're always deal-making with one another. And does Donald Trump need somebody on the inside of that club, a senator, that can promote his agenda when those backdoor deals are happening?
Well, I don't want a senator promoting any agenda but mine as a taxpayer of the state by which that senator is elected from. And I think we've lost track of this, and this is a really big deal, that our system of governance is set up where everyone is supposed to be a check and balance on someone else. Obviously, the legislature is supposed to be a check and balance on the president. To an extent, the president is supposed to be a check and balance on the legislature with the veto, and then the very high threshold to override a presidential veto that doesn't happen all that often. And then obviously the courts are supposed to be a check on both of those bodies. And that's the first part of this. The second part is, if I'm a resident of Florida and there's all these super qualified people who are longtime Florida residents who have a track record of fighting, for me, like a Byron Donalds, for example, would be phenomenal. Would I want some person who's so disconnected from my state that just a couple of years ago she was considered to be a senator from another state? Is that really? Does that person know you? Does that person know your plight? Does she understand you? Is she going to be fighting? I don't want somebody going into Washington that's going to be fighting just for Donald Trump. I want somebody who's going to be fighting for the interests of my state, of me. And I now a lot of times that will probably line up with the Trump agenda, things Trump ran on, certainly if your state elected Trump. But my goodness, all the lifelong or longtime Floridians who you could elect, who have a track record of being consistently for you, and you would go with someone who just a couple of years ago was so connected to another state, they were considered to be a senator there. I would not want any part of that.
Yeah, it is interesting because she could be considered a carpetbagger at that point because she was in New York City and is living an unsurpassed level of luxury, and that's probably not what your typical Floridian is used to or living. Okay, here's another phone call, and this one is about politics in Indiana and Indianapolis.
You know, I am so sick and tired of Indiana politics and the Republican Party in the state. And if it wasn't for the fact that I have elderly parents that I help take care of, I would move tomorrow. If what Rob is saying is true, and unfortunately he's usually right more than what people want to admit, and the State House is maneuvering to strip Micah and make him as insignificant as possible, what Micah needs to do, and he needs to do it right now, he needs to organize all his delegates that voted for him and get them in position to challenge every single seat in the State House come the next election. There shouldn't be a single seat in that State House that doesn't have a challenger. And they need to start now so they can start going door to door, community events, whatever it takes, but they need to get out there, and come the next election, we need to unseat every single one of these dirtbags, including Todd Young, that other idiot Banks, as well as the Ukrainian woman from District 5, and get rid of all these people.
Okay, so yesterday I had mentioned that the legislature is maneuvering. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but they are working on in various factions, right? Like, and when I say working, it's not like they come up with some grand theory and then it just goes into effect. I'm saying there are people in the legislature who are working to strip Micah Beckwith of some of his authority. The biggest one is agriculture. That's kind of the big one that the lieutenant governor has.
Yeah.
There are also people who are working to take away his ability to appoint the parliamentarian, which is a major deal because it controls the rules and how the Senate functions. The lieutenant governor is president of the Senate. There are also people who are working to take away the lieutenant governor being appointed by delegates as it currently is and make it a statewide election, so you have to fundraise, and all of these things are happening. Does it mean it's going to happen this legislative session? No, but these things are happening. And, you know, I had a long conversation with somebody in the State House yesterday, and again, these lawmakers, look, you guys, if you don't realize it by now, anytime you're in a room with a group of people and you have a conversation, just assume at least one of those people is going to be a fan or a friend of mine and is going to come back to me. After all these years of getting all this stuff right, I don't know why they don't get this, but I know we got to get to a break. But somebody told me this yesterday. They said, the one thing left that these people still fear is us. They still fear WIBC because they know, and they saw it with this convention, right? When Micah steamrolled all over Braun and the establishment and won that convention, everybody in that building knows and gives credit to, in some capacity, this show and this radio station for that happening. The fact that Braun did so well and Rainwater did so poorly, Braun still would have won. I'm not saying Braun wouldn't have won, but they recognize the mandate that was given based on. The one thing they still fear is us because they fear you because we have the ability to give you the information. And if it happens, if there's formal movement on it, if it moves past jockeying or scuttlebutt or behind-the-scenesing stuff, we'll tell you about it, and then you'll be able to respond accordingly. We'll know if it happens, and we'll tell you about it.
Okay, Hammer's going to join us next. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
As the summer fades and the cool breeze of fall sets in, it's the perfect time to get back to the basics, especially when it comes to your financial future. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe in simplifying your retirement plan. Our team of advisors help you build a customized retirement strategy that is designed to help reduce risk, increase income, and mitigate tax. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your plan, we're here to guide you every step of the way. It's never too early or too late to make sure your financial future is secure. Text BASICS to 888-262-1104 to download your complimentary retirement planning toolkit today. That's BASICS to 888-262-1104. Howard Bailey Financial. Back to the basics. Forward to your future. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, what's all this I hear about seasons free things?
Yeah, we're giving away even more than usual this season.
Free alignment with any Ford tire purchase isn't seasonal, Mike. It's free every day at Tire Discounters.
Sure, but right now, guess what else happens every day?
I know that customers can save up to $250 on Michelin tires.
Absolutely. Now, guess what else?
Mike, I'm a phantom tire buyer with a secret identity. Please don't toy with me.
Okay, here's the deal.
Yes?
We're doing these drawings.
Like a game show.
And one lucky customer per day wins all their money back for 4 tires.
Spectacular! But why call it seasons free things?
You know, season's greetings. It's like a play on words.
Yes, of course it is. I knew that.
It's seasons free things at Tire Discounters. One lucky customer per day wins their money back on tires. Everyone saves big on major brands like Continental. And a free alignment and oil change comes with every Ford tire purchase.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-883-3024. 800-883-3024. 800-883-3024. That's 800-883-3024.
Hey, it's Rob Kendall. Join me November 21st at Hi-Fi, a celebrity bartender toast to Moselle Sanders, powered by Jack Daniels. I'll be one of the local celebrities creating a unique craft cocktail for you to enjoy. But here's the twist. You get to be the judge of who created the best cocktail. Not only will you have a great time tasting unique drinks, but you'll also be supporting the Moselle Sanders Foundation. Your ticket, starting at just $20, helps us reach our goal of $10,000 to feed 10,000 people this Thanksgiving. Don't miss out. Get your tickets now at hifiindy.com.
Don't you deserve health care you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Indianapolis, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
Real stories with Hellsberg.
I had the ring already. She had made it very clear what kind of ring she wanted.
Yep.
I pretended that I was going to kneel and picked up a pine cone instead of pulling out a ring.
What a jerk. But when I saw that ring, I was like, oh, he did good.
I really love Amy. I really, really genuinely love Amy.
I love you too.
At Hellsberg, find the engagement ring worthy of your story. Designed with the love, care, and craft it deserves. Visit a Hellsberg store or hellsberg.com.
Celebrate Movember with Hammer and Nigel and Franciscan Health November 23rd, 11 to 2 at Googman House Brewing. You can win game tickets and prizes and learn how you can get healthy and stay healthy.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra is making its way back to Gamebridge Fieldhouse on December 19th with an all-new show, The Lost Christmas Eve Tour. For tickets and more information, head to WIBC.com.
From the #1 rated Hammer and Nigel show, Jason Hammer in the studio. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. And we were having a little conversation off the air. Apparently, the representative of Brownsburg here did not know that Lauren Boebert, the representative of Colorado, is a grandma.
That's true. She is. We were way over on the age guessing game with her.
Well, we
too.
guessed her age, and you said 47, 48.
Yes.
You said 50. Kev said 45. I took 46. She's 30. She's 30.
37.
37 years old. No. Yes. She's 30.
Yeah.
She's 30. She was born. Yes. She'll be 38 years old this year.
So she's 37 right now. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So she's a young grandma. She said something. They had this UFO hearing, and I'm not quite sure if she was trolling or if she was serious, but listen to this.
Program could put us on a list. Well, I already find myself on many lists, I'm sure. So I speak my mind often, so why not just keep going with it? May as well just go all out and say it. The earth is flat, birds are government drones, and we've never set foot on the moon, and Joe Biden received 81 million votes in the 2020 election. So let's just see how many...
So she said the earth is flat, birds are drones.
Was that Boebert or was that Large Marge? It sounded like Large Marge.
It was Lauren Boebert.
Oh, well,
I think
don't
she was
know
being
about
sarcastic.
That, but let's play a little game here. Love, marry, kill.
Oh, is that where love? That's what we're going with.
Well, I don't want to get fired. The old game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Lauren Boebert, Anna Paulina Luna of Florida, and in-your-face Nancy Mace.
Okay, so there's the one I could never spend any time around is Nancy Mace, so we'd have to.
Oh no!
We'd have to throw her in the dumpster.
You don't like in-your-face?
Well, I'm. No. And then the other two, so we're going with love. That's
Love
what we're
and
going
marry,
with.
right.
Well,
and I think we know what I'm talking about when we
Boebert
say love, right?
Yeah.
I think Paulina Luna's more attractive, but I don't think I could spend substantial amount of time with Lauren Boebert. So I would have to love Lauren Boebert because I think Paulina Luna and I would get along better.
Because of all the options, doing process of elimination here, you could not marry Boebert, and you just don't like in-your-face Nancy Mace.
Right.
So,
would you have a problem being married to someone who puts it out there on the internet all the time, like Paulina Luna does?
Well, I just think she's too good for me. I think she'd figure that out.
Oh,
pretty
I
fast.
agree. I think the stapler in here is too good for you. Like the fact that your wife is with you right now is just a miracle because you're just a rotten, cheap, horrible little man. Like little man syndrome to the fullest extent. You're just a horrible human being. And this is coming from me. And I'm awful. Like I think I'm the most horrible person I know. But then I see Rob Kendall coming to work every day and boy, I feel better about myself.
Right.
Oh, that was good stuff. But I thought it was a pretty good strategy, right? Can you imagine being married to Lauren Boebert? Having to be around that all the time?
I mean, again...
You'd be paying for her and her grandkids.
Right, she's a grandma now. Yeah. Like, she's a hot grandma, right? Let's call it what it is.
Hey, real quick, while we got time, you and I had an interesting discussion last night, and I think the voting public won out on this because we put it up as a poll.
So, I don't know how it got to this point, but...
Well, what happened was I had watched in the Redskins-Eagles game, I had watched a tight end catch a ball, and they're trying to drag this guy down, and it's like three grown men trying to drag this tight end for the Washington Redskins down, and it got me thinking about how hard that would be for a normal person to try to tackle an NFL tight end in the open field.
NFL tight ends are some of the biggest, strongest dudes out there. So we started thinking, all right, who are the best NFL tight ends? Probably Travis Kelce or George Kittle of San Francisco, right?
Huge dudes.
Huge dudes. What do you think you would have more success at trying to do? Now, let me preface this by saying the answer is neither of them.
Right.
But do you think you would have a better chance at trying to tackle Travis Kelce in the open field?
Right.
Now, he's trying to get yards. He's trying to get in the end zone. There may be blockers, and he's going to come at you. He might juke you. He might stiff arm you or just truck you. Your job is to not let him get the extra yard, or you've got to get a hit off Major League Baseball pitcher Paul Skeens, who's up there throwing it at 102 miles per hour with movement. I think I got a better chance of just throwing myself at the feet of Kelce than I do getting a base hit off Skeens.
You could just trip and you had nothing to do with it. But you get credit for the tackle.
I don't want that fastball flying at my head.
Yeah, I'm not catching up to 102 mile an hour heat, and if I do, it ain't going for a base hit.
Yeah, you can vote right now at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter. Skeens is winning overwhelmingly.
Hitting a baseball is the hardest thing in sports, I think.
Yeah, Travis Kelce, people say that'd be easier. What's coming up this afternoon?
Beer Sample Friday. We're going to get loaded.
Well, that was great.
Good enough. Thank you. It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Miss M's Home and Garden and Sundown Gardens fall sale is still on. 30 to 50% off all trees and shrubs in stock. It's a great time to finish up your landscape for next year, and if you're ready to start interior holiday decorating, they have you covered. Stop in and shop those stunning displays filled with the best quality Christmas decor. Holiday open houses are coming the weekend before Thanksgiving. Miss M's in Bargersville on State Road 135 south of Whiteland Road. Sundown Gardens at 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Shh. The silence you just heard? You could have used that space to reach your customers. Get your message in front of your customers. Text business to 71007 now. Get results with Radio 1.
Save $40 before the holidays with Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129, plus $75 off duct cleaning too. ZeroResIndy.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, a teenager shot earlier this week has died, plus Harrison Silcox reports on a police shooting that happened last night, and Notre Dame is well aware of what's at stake for the rest of its football season. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recycler Studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
She fought for her life. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. A judge in Georgia hears opening statements and testimony from Laken Riley's roommate so far at the trial of the man accused of killing her in February when she was out for a run.
When Laken Riley refused to be his rape victim, he bashed her skull in with a rock.
Prosecutor Sheila Ross, Jose Ibarra's defense attorney, says the evidence is circumstantial. Ibarra's from Venezuela and entered the country illegally in 2022. He waived his right to a jury trial, so the evidence is being heard by a judge who will decide on a verdict. President Biden meets with the leaders of Japan, South Korea, and Peru today at an economic summit in Lima, Peru. Then tomorrow with China's President Xi, and a side trip before the G20 summit starting Monday in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
President Biden will visit the Amazon rainforest in Brazil Sunday to highlight the impacts of climate change. He will be the first sitting president to travel to the Amazon. As he does so, the administration is rolling out about $1.5 billion from the bipartisan infrastructure law and the Inflation Reduction Act for clean energy and climate-friendly construction. That total includes $1.2 billion for states to incorporate cleaner, made-in-America construction materials for transportation and infrastructure projects, the administration says. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Retail sales up 0.4% last month, more than most economists expected.
Auto dealers, restaurants, and electronics stores are among businesses reporting higher sales. For the year ending in October, there's a 2.8% increase. Amazon's 2-day fall Prime Day sale was in October. Walmart, Target, and other retailers held competing sales.
Fox's Janika Sola. General Motors says it's laying off about 1,000, mostly white-collar workers worldwide. They were told about it today. A GM statement says we need to optimize for speed and excellence. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Dead a few days later. Radar is clear. It is cloudy and 48 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. A 13-year-old boy who was shot by another teenager earlier this week in Greenwood has died. Investigators now saying that James Davis passed away after being taken off of life support. He was shot by another teenager as they were messing around with a gun at a home. A welfare check turned into a police shooting in Indianapolis Thursday. Harrison Silcox.
The welfare check was for someone in a car at the drive-thru at 16th and Meridian, just north of downtown Indianapolis, Thursday around 4. When IMPD officers showed up, the person in the car drove it into one of the cops. Another officer at the scene then shot the person behind the wheel.
EMS arrived shortly thereafter, transported that suspect or driver to an area hospital in stable condition.
IMPD officer William Young, the officer who was hit by the car, was sent to the hospital as well. They're expected to be just fine. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Gender-affirming care remains illegal in Indiana. That's the ruling of a federal appeals court, which says Indiana's law banning the use of puberty blockers and gender reassignment surgeries on children is in fact lawful. Indiana has had several rainy days over the past couple of weeks with over an inch of rain in many areas. This has brought precipitation levels back to normal as well as helped out with drought, so says Aaron Updike with the National Weather Service.
So that has then resulted in some improved drought. Now we do have some drought still left, especially north and along I-70 all the way through northern Indiana, where a little bit less rain has been received, but we are definitely seeing some improvements.
Updike says you'll be getting more rain by Sunday. He also says temperatures will start to drop starting next week. The college football playoff ramifications on the rest of the season are not lost on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They face Virginia in their final regular season home game tomorrow.
Every game, this game's the Super Bowl. No matter if we were in the playoff hunt or not, that's the same mindset we have, man, is that you get 12 of these guaranteed opportunities.
Head coach Marcus Freeman. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
It's starting to be fall in Indiana, the perfect time to tackle home projects you've been putting off before winter arrives. With Moss Roofing by your side, you don't have to do it alone. They're ready to assist with your roofing and siding needs, ensuring your home is safe and ready for the holidays. Let Moss Roofing, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com, give your home a serious glow-up with premium James Hardy siding, tough enough to face Indiana's wild weather and stylish enough to turn heads on your block. And the best part, their free inspections come with a 3D design preview so you could see your home's stunning makeover before the work begins. Contact Moss Roofing for a job done right every single time at Moss Roofing, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com, or call 317-747-3665. Moss Roofing, 317-747-3665. That's 747-3665. Or online at Moss, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com. And don't forget, tell them Tony Katz sent you.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Family Heating and Air, your American Standard air dealer in Indianapolis.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Friday, November 15th. It's 5 minutes after 11. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Coming up in just a bit, Abdul will be joining us, and we're going to talk about his big win in court yesterday, a defamation lawsuit. But first...
Oh, man, that's just... I've laughed at that for about, I don't know, 12 hours now. That just tickles me to no end. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
I'm curious if he'll actually get any of that money. We'll have to ask him about that.
Yeah, but it's just the... Well, anyway, go on. We'll get into it next segment.
Talking about money, there's a big fight tonight. Let's move off of politics for a second, shall we? And you've got Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fighting tonight. It's on Netflix. It starts at 8 o'clock. There's a lot of undercards, and then the big fight. So maybe around 11:30.
Yeah, so this is, I think, and I told Tony this morning when I was on with Tony doing the couple of picks from the sports betting show. I think the viewership for this is going to be off the charts. And I think a big part of this is there are certain people, like there's a reason, this will sound weird, but I think one of the best surrogates for Donald Trump was Hulk Hogan. And I don't mean that because, oh my gosh, there were millions of people who voted solely based on Hulk Hogan's endorsement. But I think in terms of what Donald Trump was trying to do was to tap into a group of voters that haven't really ever been catered to or reached. And that was Gen Xers, primarily men. And to those people, there's a handful of people or things that are associated with that generation. And I'm talking about the 1980s generation. And this is, look, I was very young in the 1980s. You were a little more seasoned than I was. But to the people of the 1980s, there's a handful of people who you just say it, and you just, not only do you think of the 1980s, but the best of the 1980s. Like, for example, it's Hulk Hogan, it's Michael Jackson, it's to some extent Bruce Springsteen, it's Madonna, it's Cyndi Lauper, it's Ronald Reagan. Like, they're just certain names, and it just spurns just great positive thoughts of that time and that place. And Mike Tyson, and weirdly, the Mike Tyson Punch-Out Nintendo game, even maybe more so than Mike Tyson, with Glass Jaw Joe and all the rest of the Good Time Fun Gang, bring on that sense of happy, positive nostalgia. And so I think tonight, even though Mike Tyson is 58 years old and he's 20 years past his last fight, and as much as we don't want to remember it, Mike Tyson was total garbage when he went out as a professional. He was losing to no-namers. He brings that out in people, and I think there's going to be, I mean, I'll be one of them. I can't, the last boxing match I watched was Mayweather and Pacquiao, and that was 9 years ago. There'll be tons of people who are going to watch this thing tonight with the heart of a little kid, and they're going to end up walking away with the disappointment of an adult. But at least for a few moments in time, you'll be enthusiastic and excited about something.
It's interesting that you say Mike Tyson in the 80s, because when I think of boxers in the 80s, Sugar Ray Leonard comes to my mind more than Mike Tyson does. I feel like he was...
But there was nobody bigger than Tyson.
Yeah.
I mean, Tyson was...
Late 80s, perhaps.
It was must-see television. Tyson was so good, you knew that guy's boxing match was going to last 1 or 2 rounds. You knew you were paying all this money, and it wasn't
going to be more than 20 minutes long.
He was going to beat the hell out of some jabroni, in 1 or 2 rounds. You were going to be like, really? I paid for that? And then you were going to do it again. He was that much in the when Buster Douglas in 1990 knocked out Mike Tyson, it sent an earthquake through the entire sporting world. It was like, who? What? No, that you must be mistaken, right? I mean, Tyson was that big, and obviously later on, future generations through the Hangover movies, and he's kind of become this, cultural, whatever. And so I just think there's going to be a gajillion people watch this thing tonight. And I mean, think about it. I'm one of them. You're one of them.
Yeah.
When was the last time you stayed up until 11:30 to watch a sporting event?
Oh, any sporting event?
Yeah, like when was the last time?
I couldn't tell you, Rob.
Exactly, right? You're not you're a casual sporting fan.
It's always on, but it's always background to me.
There are certain people still in sports. There are not many of them, but when they're on television, you have to stop what you're doing and watch them, because they're bigger than the sport itself. Like Tiger Woods is still that way. Tiger Woods is a shell of himself as a golfer. He's going to play the Masters next year. Masters ratings will be off the chart as long as he's remotely competitive, because it's Tiger Woods. Like, you want to see it. Mike Tyson is that. He's that guy. He's that guy. Whenever Tyson's somewhere, you've got to stop and watch it. And yes, and everybody is right in saying this, that Mike Tyson was convicted of doing something horrible, and he paid his debt to society. And you can say, I'm not going to pay a dime to watch it, or I'm going to pay a dime to watch it, or whatever. Everybody's got to make their own choice on that. I'm just telling you, Mike Tyson still is one of those people that when he is on television, people stop what they're doing and they want to see it, because there's a potential train wreck about to happen.
Well, I think especially after, the bite fight. When that happened, Tyson, what is he doing? That guy is off the charts.
He's
crazy.
He's a circus freak.
Right.
He's step right up and see the three-headed man. I mean, that's what he is. We're not trying to hoodwink you on why people stop and watch. It's no different than John Daly for years and years. John Daly won 2 majors, and other than that, was a below mediocre golfer for the majority of his career. Yet every time John Daly was on TV, television ratings were higher. Why? Because you're going to see him hit the never-ending golf ball, step right up and see King Kong hit the never-ending golf ball. Oh, yeah, and he might have a meltdown because he's an alcoholic. Oh, and he might threaten to fight a fan in the gallery, or he might throw his clubs into the ocean, or who knows what you're going to see. Why do people stop and watch an accident on the side of the road?
Yeah.
It's the same thing, but this is the sports version of that. And tonight, even though everything about logic and common sense says Jake Paul, because Jake Paul is a goof, but he's a pretty damn good boxer, and he has the ability to beat Mike Tyson to a pulp and embarrass him tonight. He's actually a pretty good boxer, which is why he's won all the fights he's been in.
Right.
And Mike Tyson is old, and he was bad when he was at the end of his career. But you're in your mind, you're saying, okay, one punch. All it takes is one punch.
Well, that is all it takes.
Yeah,
if he's in shape. The old Mike Tyson, younger Mike Tyson, rather.
They do not.
He was bringing it last night when he got slapped. It was all for show.
Yes, it was all for. It was an open-handed punch case. I mean, these gloves are rigged up so that it's much less likely that you're going to get a knockout. Jake Paul has a lot riding on this because it's always to the next endeavor. They were not going to put him in the ring with somebody that is likely to defeat him, because if he loses, then the whole gravy train basically comes to an end. His money train continues off his continued ability to win these celebrity style fights. I cannot believe the odds are not heavier in Jake Paul's favor.
Jake Paul, he's wagering his entire $40 million purse on himself for the fight tonight.
I love this. Okay,
yeah, he's betting on himself.
Well, okay, so let's say he got it at minus 200. His odds at minus 200, because I've seen it everything from minus 200 to minus 220. So what that means is if you took Jake Paul tonight at minus 220, minus 200, he's the favorite. That means you would have to bet $200 to win 100. So basically, whatever your bet is, you would win half of that. So if he bet $40 million on himself, he would win $20 million tonight if he indeed can defeat Mike Tyson.
Is this true? Tyson's set to make $20 million for the fight, just for showing up.
That's probably right.
Yeah.
I mean, and you think about that. That's a really good payout for a 58-year-old guy.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I don't know. It's been 20 years or so since Tyson's been in the ring competitively, in a big time fight. I don't know what he was making back then. I bet it wasn't much more than what he's making now, especially with Don King taking, a huge portion of it.
Okay, so there's this message from Mike Tyson. It's to Jake Paul, and here we go.
Final thing, I presume that Mike Tyson is watching this right now. Is there anything you want to say to him?
Mike, I love you, but this is my sport now. It's an honor to get in the ring with you. I'm so honored. You're a legend, but I'm going to take your throne, brother.
There's a fundamental difference between me and Jake. He's a manufactured killer. Television and papers made him a killer. He's manufactured. I'm a natural-born killer. That's the difference.
So he's saying Jake Paul's manufactured. This is all television, where with Tyson, it's natural.
Now, I told Tony this today because every Friday we do the segment on his show about the Degenerates Next Door podcast. New episode, NFL out, college out. You can get both of those available now. I told him, I said, there's no such thing as free money in sports. Obviously, it involves human interaction, so anything is capable of happening. I will just tell you, and I'm by no means a boxing expert, but I've tried to study this a little bit. I am floored that it is only minus 200 for Jake Paul. I mean, I know people want this to be, and by the way, I'm going to bet on Jake Paul, and I would gladly lose all my money tonight to watch him be defeated by Mike Tyson. Whatever I bet tonight, I would gladly be happy to lose that. So I'm cheering for Mike Tyson, but I'm just saying from a pure who's going to win the fight perspective.
Yeah.
And the other thing I think you've got to factor in is if by some chance this goes the distance, which it could, the gravy train is with Jake Paul. So
that's the future.
And the next money is with Paul. If he loses, the money will stop. So you got to remember that. If there's a tie, it's going to go to the runner. The runner in this case is Jake Paul, because that's where the money is.
Yeah. Abdul's going to join us next. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Renewed.
Throws it up and in, and a foul. For three, yes. And a Bucko.
Mike Goodson has an exciting roster of veterans, transfers, and freshmen. The pre-conference season continues against the South Carolina Gamecocks tomorrow.
Throws it up, got it!
John Herrick has the pregame at 2. Don Fisher with the tip at 3 on your home for IU basketball, 93 WIBC.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
One of the real advantages that we have here at Hendricks is the scope of the services that we have to offer in orthopedics.
Whether they have a hip fracture or they're a high-functioning athlete, we're all working towards the same thing.
To have them be able to have an elective surgery safely and then go home also in a safe fashion is of utmost importance.
We very much want everyone to get back to doing everything that they were doing beforehand. We're really invested in it.
Unstoppable orthopedic care. Learn more at hendricks.org/ortho.
Hey, it's Rob Kendall. Join me November 21st at Hi-Fi, a celebrity bartender toast to Moselle Sanders, powered by Jack Daniels. I'll be one of the local celebrities creating a unique craft cocktail for you to enjoy. But here's the twist. You get to be the judge of who created the best cocktail. Not only will you have a great time tasting unique drinks, but you'll also be supporting the Moselle Sanders Foundation. Your ticket starting at just $20 helps us reach our goal of $10,000 to feed 10,000 people this Thanksgiving. Don't miss out. Get your tickets now at hifiindy.com.
Royal Spa hot tubs are simply better. Come into any of our locations and make the salesperson prove the superiority of the Royal Spa product.
Royal Spa.
Well, it's bad news for old honest Gabe, and that means it's good news for society.
This is the most incredible thing. And are we still calling him Honest Gabe after this?
Well, I don't know. Let's get into it, shall we? It's
Okay.
Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. And headline from IndyPolitics.org. Indy Politics publisher awarded $400,000 in defamation suit. And, of course, this involves our old friend and colleague Abdul Hakim Shabazz and his litigation against disgraced former congressional candidate Gabe Whitley. Abdul joins us now. Abdul, congratulations.
Well, thank you, but you also forgot to add indicted.
Well, okay.
One thing at a time, Abdul.
All right, so let's reset all of this. Of course, Gabe Whitley is this
former
guy.
7th District congressional candidate.
Yes, he ran. He lost spectacularly. He got dead last. He lost to the deceased woman. It came out while he was running that it appears he had a litany of donors who did not exist. The FEC is investigating him. It appears that the federal government is investigating him for something as they raided his home a couple of months ago. And then on top of that, he got charges here in the state of Indiana for what? Threatening you on the internet, Abdul?
Posting pictures of my home online, encouraging violence against me.
Okay, so that's the legal, the criminal side of things.
Anybody got a scorecard at home to check all this off? It gets a little confusing after a while.
Okay, so that's the criminal side of things. Now, on the civil side of things, you took this idiot to court because of things he wrote about you on the internet.
Yes. Back in last year, spring of last year, he wrote online that I was a child rapist and was stole money when I was president of the Marion County Fair Board. Like, okay.
Neither of those two things happened, correct?
Exactly. They were false, and he knew they were false, and he printed them anyway. And so I sued him for defamation. And I used the higher standard defamation because if someone says something about a regular person, you just got to show it's false. With someone like me who's more of a public figure, I've shown not only was the information false and not true, but the person who wrote the information knew it wasn't true and published it anyway, which we proved all those elements.
Okay, so you sued him in local court here in Indianapolis, and he then did not show up for the hearings. Is that right?
He didn't show up for the hearings, and it's also, this gets a little technical, so bear with me. It's called a request for admissions. It's during the discovery part, like, hey, admit you live here, admit you live here, admit you wrote this, admit you did that, blah blah blah. And Gabe never responded. And so by not responding, those admissions are considered to be, quote, admitted unless you say no or get some sort of time from a judge to answer questions. And so because he basically admitted what he did, I filed a motion for summary judgment. Like, hey, Your Honor, there's no genuine issue of material fact here. He admitted he did it. I should win. And the court agreed.
Okay. And so yesterday, according to your IndyPolitics.org website, Judge John Hanley awarded you $300,000 in punitive damages and $100,000 in actual damages. So for people who are not attorneys at law, what does that mean?
Well, the different types of damages that you can ask for. Number one, your actual damages for your actual harm, which is where the $100,000 came in. The punitive damage is basically to punish the wrongdoer. Like, hey, this behavior is unacceptable. You can't do this. We need to let you know you can't do this and also send a message to other people. And so that's where the $300,000 came in. Now, please note the main reason why I asked for $300,000 is under Indiana's tort law and defamation. You cannot get your punitive damages can't be more than 3 times higher than what you got in actual damages.
Okay.
So that's why I asked for 100 and then asked for 300 on top because 3 times 1 is 3.
Now, if you were to look up Gabe Whitley in my case, you would see a litany of people that have also engaged in litigation with Gabe and have been successful, and there is a track record of him not paying and not showing up. So what do? Do you have to get in line with these people? What happens now?
Well, now that I got my judgment, I can file an order for garnishment. It means I can have his wages garnished. Now, please note, Gabe Whitley was saying he was going to file for bankruptcy and get all this thrown out. Well, no, not necessarily, because once again, you can't discharge punitive damages in bankruptcy. I'll put it this way. It's very rare that punitive damages are discharged at the bankruptcy phase because, like I said, punish the wrongdoer. And so once I get back from Illinois this weekend, I'm basically going to start my motion to have his wages garnished from his job at Circle K. And I want to say he's like a substitute school teacher. So, and by the way, I kind of do wage garnishments as part of my practice. I sort of fell into it 5 years ago and been doing it ever since. So I think we got a good shot at getting something. Now, we may take a while, like get a sort of one dime at a time, but hey, I got all day and nobody's going anywhere.
Abdul is our guest. We're talking about the big ruling yesterday that came down in Abdul's favor over Gabe Whitley, the former, now failed congressional candidate from Indiana's 7th congressional district. Abdul was awarded.
You forgot to add indicted.
Well, yes, he has also been indicted. $400,000 in Abdul's favor in a defamation suit.
Hey, Abdul, you mentioned that he never got back to the court. Do you think it's because he has so many other legal wranglings going on that he just forgot, or?
No, I want to say at the time he was filing a lawsuit against the Indiana Disciplinary Commission over in federal court for not revoking my law license. So he couldn't show up at his one hearing because he was about to lose another hearing, which, by the way, motion for summary judgment have been filed, and it'll be dismissed. He's got a hearing on the 22nd, I think, Friday morning at 8:30 in federal court, where you guys basically got to make your case. Okay, tell me why that this should go forward. And I read the state's pleadings, and he's going to get his clock cleaned.
Okay, so it's easy for us to laugh about this because this guy is a complete joke and a goof and a knucklehead. But the reality is, look, he's been indicted locally for the stuff he posted online about you. He's clearly under some sort of investigation federally. Now, whether that's related to the donors that don't exist or not, we don't know. But the reality is, until law enforcement incarcerates this guy in some capacity, he will just keep doing stuff like he's done to you and other people because he has no shame. There's really not that much you can actually take from him. And when you have no shame and you don't care how you're exposed to the public, I mean, there's just nothing you can do to the guy, and he sort of recognizes that. And while you're winning this today, and it's great that you won, he's just going to keep doing, there's a good chance, these sorts of things.
Yes, which is why number one. So there's a criminal element of all this. There's a federal criminal element and the state criminal element. So and those will work themselves out through the court system. On the other hand, like I said, to punish the wrongdoer, this is why punitive damages are there. And he'll have this judgment literally for the rest of his natural life. A good chunk of that will probably be spent sometime the next 10 years will be spent behind bars. But these judgments will be with him forever. And no matter what job he gets or what sort of income he has, he says he's self-employed. Okay, sure, whatever. His wages can be garnished. And by the way, too, when he filed his federal lawsuit, he filed basically what's called former pauper status, which basically means he doesn't make enough money to cover all the filing fees. Well, to do that, you got to fill out forms. And the forms, you got to tell what your income is. And he makes about $36,000 a year and some change, give or take. Now, is that a lot of money? No. But like I said, we should get him one dime at a time.
And I love that you are dedicated enough to see this through.
Yep, because you know what, my friend, I have nothing else better to do. I actually got a lot of stuff else better to do with my time. But this was personal. This wasn't just business. This was personal. This was an attack on me, family, my career, the whole 9 yards. So this couldn't happen to a better person.
Well, and real quick, I know Casey wants to pop in here, but you're right. That $300,000 is a resounding rebuke by the judge.
Yes, and by the way, when I found out yesterday, I was just online, just doing my usual checking through mycase.gov, and so I went to my defamation suit. Like, I wonder when the judge is going to come back with a decision. Like, wait a second, order issue. Like, holy crap, that he's got an order. And so I kind of hesitated to push the button first. I wasn't quite sure. Like, okay, let's go do it. Send. Like, holy crap, the judge gave me exactly what I asked for: $100,000 in compensatory, $300,000 in punitive. All right, sweet.
Well, Abdul, let's talk about the money for a second, because that's mostly what everybody is interested in. Do you expect that you'll see any of that money? And you mentioned garnish of the wages. Is there a percentage of which you'll get?
Well, under Indiana law, if I remember correctly, your wages can only be garnished up to like 25%. That's after you take care of your food, medicine, housing, that type of stuff. So you get basically 25% of what's left over, and that's your. I want to say that's your total paycheck. So from that perspective, yeah, we're in line, but I don't mind being in line for this one.
But you do expect you'll receive some sort of payment.
Yeah. Now, granted, Stevie Wonder probably see a dime before I do. It's been by running jokes and all this. But at the same time, it's like, you know what? It sends a message, a clear message, that Gabe Willie and his whole sort of cabal of nut jobs. If you're gonna do this type of stuff, you better have your crap together. I almost said something else I remember on a family radio.
That's right. Well, good for you. And it also keeps this guy and who he is and what he's done front and center. And so good on you for getting this judgment in your favor. I suspect it won't change who Gabe is at all. But yes, Casey, before we go,
I have one more question for you, Abdul, because many people would say that you're a learned professional and it's kind of a David and Goliath situation. Do you feel bad about this at all, or
No.
do you feel that this is right?
I feel this is right. This is vindicated because once again, whether you got a ton of experience or not experience, the law treats everybody the same. Now, granted, they'll give you a little bit more leeway if you're sort of pro se, and the courts, as you saw, with a protective order, the courts gave them a lot of leeway. And what was the result? It was still exactly the same. So no, I don't. Like I said, if as an old phrase my daddy say, son, you want to pee with the big dogs, you got to raise your legs a little bit higher.
Yeah, there you go. All right, well, congratulations, Abdul.
Hey, my friend, my pleasure. By the way, I celebrated last night with some special stuff from the back of my refrigerator. It was great.
There you go. All right.
Thanks, Abdul. It is
Thanks,
Kendall and
guys.
Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
More of his nominees. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. President-elect Trump is rolling out more possible cabinet members.
Former Democratic presidential candidate and environmental lawyer Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will be nominated to lead the Department of Health and Human Services, President-elect Trump says. Kennedy has been a longtime skeptic of vaccines and drug makers. Other nominees are likely to face smoother confirmations, including former Congressman Doug Collins to lead Veterans Affairs and North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum to be Interior Secretary. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
GM is laying off about 1,000 employees. The automaker announced the cuts as part of an effort to streamline operations due to changing market conditions. Most of the employees are described as white collar. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Mike loves the fall in Indy, but he hates to paint, so he called Rhino Shield.
Our home is basically a contemporary, and we just started noticing that the paint was just fading and just looked like garbage. We had received a postcard from Rhino Shield, and we decided to take a look at it.
Rhino Shield's formulated for our specific climate here in Indiana.
We had problems in the past with painters. They leave debris and everything. Well, we didn't have that with Rhino Shield.
And right now, Indy, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price. Plus, there's more great news. Rhino Shield has partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer affordable monthly payments with 0% interest loans to qualified customers.
The thing about Rhino Shield, the heat gain has been reduced, and we save $70 a month. You don't hear that about any type of paint.
Here's Rhino Shield Shane Smith.
Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint. Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Pat Sullivan here for the Michaelis Corporation. I'm here with Michaela to talk about water damage. Water damage at your home or business can come from heavy rains, broken or frozen pipes, and countless other ways. Michaela, if someone has a loss due to water, why should they call Michaelis?
Michaelis is a local, family-owned Indianapolis company with 39 years' experience. We are manning the phones and ready to help 24/7, 365. Michaelis specializes in water damage restoration, is IICRC certified, and will restore your home or business to pre-loss condition or better.
I know a big part of getting back to normal is dealing with the insurance company. Can Michaelis help there?
Yes, Michaelis works through the entire process on your behalf to make it easy and give you peace of mind.
If you have water damage, call the Michaelis Corporation. Water, storms, fire, and mold, life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Text or call 844-FIXED-INDY. That's 844-FIXED-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, what's all this I hear about seasons free things?
Yeah, we're giving away even more than usual this season.
Free alignment with any Ford tire purchase isn't seasonal, Mike. It's free every day at Tire Discounters.
Sure, but right now, guess what else happens every day?
I know that customers can save up to $250 on Michelin tires.
Absolutely. Now, guess what else?
Mike, I'm a Phantom tire buyer with a secret identity. Please don't toy with me.
Okay, here's the deal.
Yes?
We're doing these drawings.
Like a game show.
And one lucky customer per day wins all their money back for 4 tires.
Spectacular! But why call it seasons free things?
You know, season's greetings. It's like a play on words.
Yes, of course it is. I knew that.
It's seasons free things at Tire Discounters. One lucky customer per day wins their money back on tires. Everyone saves big on major brands like Continental. And a free alignment and oil change comes with every Ford tire purchase.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-883-3024. 800-883-3024. 800-883-3024. That's 800-883-3024.
Heating and air conditioning can be the largest investment you make in your home. Here at Family, we pride ourselves in offering many flexible options.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC.
Its purpose would be to dismantle government bureaucracy / excess regulations, cut wasteful expenditures, and restructure federal agencies. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy were both in Florida last night when Donald Trump was speaking. Both successful entrepreneurs in their own right, and they've been very adamant about their desire to cut unnecessary spending to the tune of $35 trillion.
Okay, so my question to them, and Trump hasn't laid this out yet, is how is this going to work?
Yeah.
Because he's like, okay, these two guys are in charge of this thing, but like, how does it work? Do they make a recommendation one at a time? Will those be presented to Congress? Do they make is it going to be in a book form of recommendations? Just, it's wonderful that he has this, but see, people forget. So the left is losing their mind on this. Obama had a similar thing in his first term.
What was it called?
Well, it was
it wasn't branded like Doge.
No. It was some government. There were 12 elected officials and 6 citizens, as I recall, and he had some government reform committee that was supposed to find all these wastes and inefficiencies, and look what happened. Look what happened for it.
I think what's going to happen is whatever they decide, however the order is, the logistics of it, you're going to get a lot of people up in arms and, oh my gosh, we're not going to be able to function. And then one day it starts working. So it's going to be like everything. It's going to get worse before it gets better.
My mind, Casey,
it's like a file cabinet. Rob, did you find it?
Yes. Okay. This is from obamawhitehouse.archives.gov. So this is some sort of official governmental thing. President Obama establishes bipartisan National Commission on Fiscal Responsibility and Reform. Today, Erskine Bowles and Alan Simpson. That's right. There's always two old-timer people who never accomplished anything that they put in charge of these sort of things. Today, President Obama will sign an executive order establishing the Bipartisan National Commission on Fiscal Responsibility and Reform and announce that former White House Chief of Staff Erskine Bowles and former Republican Senate Whip Alan Simpson will serve as the commission's co-chair.
So we've been down this road before.
But it's no different than what I talked about with Mitch Daniels. And you can have all the ideas in the world, which are great. What is the plan to get them enacted? I mean, if you're just going to go with ideas and then they sit on a shelf and collect dust, then what? I'm amazing, aren't I?
You are something. Here's a list of some of the things that they could possibly cut.
Liz Warren is spending $850,000 on a gay senior citizen home in Boston. Florida has the Villages. Massachusetts has the Village People. We're spending $15 million to pay for Egyptians' college tuition. Egyptian tuition, not Egyptians who live in America, Egyptians in Egypt. Egyptian tuition. So we pay for illegals to go to college here, and now we're paying for the tuition before I guess they even cross the border. Speaking of Egypt, Gold Bar Bob's sending $400,000 to a gay activist group that teaches elementary school kids about being trans. Not enough to keep you out of jail, Gold Bar. Sorry. Another $400,000 goes to a group that gives clothes to teens that help them hide their gender, like chest binders and tuckums. Parental permission not required. Even Dianne Feinstein, who unfortunately passed away long before the bill was written, has an earmark from the grave. $500,000 for a DEI zoo. The San Diego Zoo's getting $500,000 for an anti-racist nature appreciation program where high school kids from diverse backgrounds can observe wildlife. Why do they need $500,000 to go to the zoo? Tickets are like $15.
So there are 428 federal agencies.
Okay, so let me read you how these go, okay? All right, so this is, again, from obamawhitehouse.archives.gov. This is dated August the 4th, 2011. Their goal was to reduce the national debt by $1 trillion over the next 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And between the years 2011 and 2021, the national debt went from $14.7 trillion to $28.4
So
trillion.
the other way.
They did not succeed.
The other way. Well, that's a shame. Hopefully, Vivek and Elon will be a little bit more successful because we need them to be. Susan Beckwith is going to join us next. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Holidays will be here before we know it. Maybe you've already started shopping for someone on your list. AAA Hoosier Motor Club inviting you to join them, help make sure some local kids in need get gifts through the Toys for Tots program. AAA giving you the chance to send a holiday message of hope to Central Indy's less fortunate kids.
And as a thank you for donating to Toys for Tots, current AAA members will receive 25% off any merchandise in the travel store or adding someone to your AAA membership featuring their fabulous 24/7, 365 days a year roadside assistance for just $25. And non-members who donate will have the opportunity for early access to a special holiday offer, a classic AAA membership for just $50. Help local children in need this holiday season and secure your peace of mind with a AAA membership. Donate to Toys for Tots at AAA. Visit AAA.com or find the AAA store near you.
Ooh, we got a question. Brian W. asks, it's the holiday season and I'm looking for deals. Is Xfinity having a Black Friday sale?
Well, Brian, our best deals of the year are here. Get iPhone 16 Pro on us. Just ask us how. Plus, you can also get fast, reliable Xfinity Internet with a line of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited for a great low price.
So don't wait. Bring home a new iPhone 16 Pro built for Apple Intelligence.
And connect to reliable 5G and Wi-Fi speeds up to a gig on Xfinity Mobile.
That's a big deal.
More like a gig deal.
Now through December 3rd, ask how to get the new iPhone 16 Pro on us with an unlimited Plus line. Plus, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and an unlimited mobile line together for only $35 a month for 12 months with no annual contract. Go to Xfinity.com/Black Friday sale to learn more. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pays to your bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. Gig speeds available via hotspots to Xfinity Mobile customers only. Reduced speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Actual internet speeds and data thresholds may vary.
If you needed one more reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler, get this. Diamonds Direct maintains involvement in the entire diamond process and handpicks the best just for you. You see, any jeweler can claim to be a direct importer or have so-called partnerships overseas, but Diamonds Direct has special access that others simply don't have. Nobody can get closer to the source than Diamonds Direct. Indeed, Diamonds Direct is recognized in the industry as a world diamond powerhouse with unrivaled buying power and decades of inside connections that go back to their roots as actual diamond cutters. Bottom line, Diamonds Direct is without question the jeweler here that can truly offer the absolute best value. We're true talking direct importer prices on hand-selected diamonds that come straight from the source. Make no mistake, Diamonds Direct refuses to be undersold on GIA-certified diamonds. And we challenge you, let us prove it. Diamonds Direct, your source for the ultimate diamond value. Official jeweler of the Indianapolis Colts and proud to call Indy home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Hey guys, it's Rob Kendall. Give back November 21st at Hi-Fi. Get tickets to a celebrity bartender toast to Moselle Sanders, powered by Jack Daniels. A night of community, Jack Daniels cocktails, and fighting food insecurity. Sample signature cocktails crafted by celebrity bartenders, all working to help raise $10,000 to feed 10,000 people this Thanksgiving through the Moselle Sanders Foundation. Tickets start at $20, with all proceeds benefiting Moselle Sanders Foundation's mission to support families in need. Get tickets at hifiindy.com.
Get in gear with fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get a brand new 2024 Navigator. Get an incredible $10,000 off plus 0% for 60 months. Or get $7,000 off select new 2024 Lincoln Aviators plus 0% for 60 months. So get some of those fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Qualified buyers with approved credit. Not all buyers will qualify. Taxes and dealer fees extra. Stock number L24412. MSRP 104,200. Stock number L24208. MSRP 75,300. See dealer for complete details.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis is everything that's right about Central Indiana. They've been locally family-owned for 50 years, helping our local economy remain strong by employing 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis is proud to do business right here in the great state of Indiana. They're a conservative-minded company that shares our values and stands by their products and services. You can call Garage Doors of Indianapolis today for service today. 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
Celebrate Movember with Hammer and Nigel and Franciscan Health November 23rd, 11 to 2 at Googman House Brewing. You can win game tickets and prizes and learn how you can get healthy and stay healthy.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Looks like I'm losing my mind.
Casey, it's that time.
Yes, it is. It's Friday, and you know what we get to do at this point on Friday?
We get to tell you people what a rotten bunch of misfits you are and how you need to be better trained to enter decent. Oh, is that what we call this segment?
Or maybe how to be better people.
Oh, yes, that's right. It's the Mind Your Manners segment, and when we teach you how to be better members of society, we don't bring in any rank-and-file amateur. We have a highly trained professional. Her name is Susan Beckwith. She's a former Miss Indiana. Okay, so before we get to the Mind Your Manners this week, Casey, I got a text yesterday from Susan, and I thought someone had hacked her phone. And I was like, am I on Impractical Jokers? Is someone like texting or telling Susan, now text Rob this? I get a text from Susan, and it says, what's Vegas saying about the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight?
Yeah.
And I
that's
said,
tonight.
Well, I'm happy to tell you, but can I know why?
She wants to get involved.
And then we get in this long conversation about how interested she is in the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight.
Well, it's a storied sport. She's just excited about the match.
Susan, I got to tell you, and then I'll give you the floor, I never thought from the pastor's wife and next second lady of Indiana I would be receiving a text about interest in the Vegas action on the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight.
You know, I think there are a lot of people that are very intrigued about this fight that might not follow boxing closely. And I've been trying to think a little bit about, you know, why I'm rooting a little bit more for Tyson. Obviously, he's had a very questionable past, so there's nothing from that standpoint that I admire. I guess probably because he feels like the underdog since he's so old or older to be, you know, obviously engaging in this kind of fight. So I don't know. And it's like you mentioned, it's a little bit nostalgic, but no, I think it's going to be really exciting. And I'm so curious, have either one of you ever been to a fight?
Have not been to a fight, have planned an entire trip around going to a fight, and then never went to the fight. And just spent plenty of time walking up and down the strip in Vegas. But, Susan, I wonder, as we get into the etiquette of today's segment, is it proper etiquette to smack someone during your weigh-in?
No, that was, you know what? I thought that was really going to pop off there. So I caught just a little bit of that on social media last night. I'm surprised it didn't escalate from there.
And by the way, so your answer is Vegas says it's somewhere, what book you're at, minus 200 to minus 220 for Jake Paul. We talked about this yesterday on the Degenerates Next Door Sports Betting podcast. I am hammering the Jake Paul. I think with the oversized gloves that they're using and that Mike Tyson is 9 million years old. And there's no way Jake Paul, who lives off of the next celebrity fight that he would risk losing, I'm betting on Jake Paul.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you know.
Same.
Minus 200, it's not overwhelming. Like, it's not over. Like, for example, the Bears were minus 290 against the Patriots last week and got smoked, so it's not like it couldn't happen. All right, so we're doing gym etiquette in honor of the fight tonight, aren't we? Is that what we're doing this week?
Well, just based on that conversation, you know, and I started thinking about, okay, we cover protocol. That's how we have order and structure in society. And so then I just, you know, I was curious, is there any sort of boxing etiquette? So this is obviously not my wheelhouse, but I was curious. I happened to find something that I thought was interesting. And I want to share just quickly, I have been to a fight, and it was awesome.
Wait. You went to a boxing match?
Yes. Okay, so this has been many years ago, but I was out in LA for the IRL championship banquet. I was their trophy gal. This was like right on the heels of my Miss Indiana journey, Miss America journey. So anyways, I was out there, and it was when the Contender reality show was going on.
Oh, yeah.
So the fight wasn't a part of that, but Sylvester Stallone was there because, he was promoting it. But it was such an interesting experience because you have like the brutality of the fight, but then there is this whole piece that I was not expecting of women coming in like full glam. I mean, you see
They
the
dress
bling.
up.
I mean, the people watching was unbelievable.
So what did you have to do? Did you just go and sit there?
No, so I went out for with the IRL, and so while we were there, we had a free evening and we went to a fight. But no, the IRL championship banquet was very cool. So I got to pass out the trophies that year to the different drivers, and yeah, it was good.
So that's so cool. See, because when you said IRL, I was initially thinking it's like Indiana Right to Life, and I was like, why would the Indiana Right to Life be out in California going to a boxing match? You're talking about the race car group.
Yes. Yep. So we went out, and I actually shared a makeup trailer at that time with Patrick Dempsey, who is very nice, by the way.
McDreamy.
Yes, it was very cool. So, anyways,
all right. Did you bet
all over?
Did you bet on that fight at all?
There's no legal sports betting in California.
No, it's true. Not back then, anyway.
I was so clueless. I was very green. Obviously, I had no idea what we were getting into, but it was a very cool experience to see firsthand.
All right, boxing etiquette. Let's go.
Okay, we have to keep it short and sweet. But some of the things that I appreciated, because I've actually been in one of these before, but do not mess with the guy in the sauna suit trying to cut weight.
Right, he may end up slapping someone.
Exactly. They're like literally hating life. So just know that they probably are miserable. So give him or her, a wide berth. So.
All right, what's next?
Okay, so I love this because it will correlate to just normal life in general. But, show deference to the coach no matter their age, even if they're half your age. Give them respect because of their authority figure. So refer to them as they should be and make sure that you are respecting them appropriately.
All right, one more.
Okay, so this one is just good gym etiquette overall. Keep it clean. Nobody wants to get on a piece of equipment after you've been sweating and it's completely soaked. So wipe it down, put away your weights, just, be respectful of those around you.
Do you think Mike Tyson cleans up his gym after himself?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
He's got people.
Right.
All right, so just so I know, because I'm going to obviously stay up and watch this fight tonight, if I text you at 11:30 when this thing will probably start, because the thing comes on at 8, but there's all the undercard.
Yeah.
If I text you at 11:30, will you and Micah be up watching this?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
I know who you're rooting for, though. You know what? And everybody that knows about boxing says Jake is a really great boxer.
Well, but let me wait.
He's got those mean-looking tattoos as well.
But let me be specific. I bet like $10. I will gladly pay $10 to watch this idiot lose. Like if they were like, you will lose your bet, your $10. And this guy will lose, I would pay $10 to watch Mike Tyson knock him out. So I'm cheering for Tyson to win. I'm just hedging my bet.
Smart.
That's great. I'll have somebody to talk. Well, Jim will be up.
Yeah,
your husband will be up.
We'll be up as
My
well
wife will be
watching this.
sound asleep, but at least I know Micah and Susan and your husband will be wide awake, so I'll have somebody to talk to.
There you go.
All right,
I don't know who he's rooting for either.
Oh, he's rooting for Tyson.
You think? I bet he is, too.
He's a Gen Xer. All the Gen Xers are rooting for Tyson.
Isn't that weird, though? I'm not. I'm rooting for Jake Paul.
Really?
Yeah.
He's such a weirdo.
Well, I think Tyson's day has come and gone.
You think he's good looking, don't you?
He's just doing it for the money.
You think Jake Paul's good looking?
No, I don't.
You totally do.
He's mean looking.
Oh, he's mean looking.
I just think it's a better bet. It's the safer, better bet.
Oh, it definitely is that. All right, Susan, tell us about your very fabulous website and Facebook page, Belle of the Midwest.
Yes, come and find me. Send me your etiquette questions. Check out my blog. And, you can also find me as well on Facebook as well as Instagram.
Belle of the Midwest, Belle of the Midwest. Find it at belleofthemidwest.com as well as Facebook. Susan Beckwith, you're the best. Thank you.
You guys have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too. And that's going to do it for us today, unless you want to stick around and fight some more. Do you want to do that?
No, I'm ready to go home.
Okay, you want to watch someone else fight?
Yes, I'm going home and taking a nap.
So you can stay up late and watch the fight.
Text
All
you.
right. Thanks, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you for listening today. Have a great weekend. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Attention.
If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
It's that time again, where we choose who